Hello, welcome, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever we're reaching you in the world. I'd like to welcome you to the Liverpool 12 Man Show. We're going to get on the Learjet Liverbird here and make a little bit of hopefully a good travel, good little pursuit of showing you what we think the preview of the game is going to be, meaning like what the teams are going to look like, or what our team's going to look like, being Liverpool, and what the score is going to be, the actual scorers of the game as well. I know that right now we kind of postponed the kickoff or the takeoff for this show because we were trying to do as much as we could in allowing for everyone that's watching this game that was 1-1 with Arsenal and Brentford kind of reach its pinnacle, but all the same, it's all good. Hopefully they're in a VAR review right now, so it is what it is. Big up to John Conway. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. But yeah, all the same, we've got some cool co-pilots on the flight today. We've got Brian and we've got JK. Brian, how you doing today?
I'm good, but I don't have a pilot's license.
Okay. Well, today, don't worry. You're co-piloting it, so I'll be able just to handle it. JK, how about yourself?
All good, bro. All good. I hope you guys are cool. Rest in peace, Biggie Smalls.
Yes, R.I.P. Biggie Smalls. It is the anniversary of his passing. So JK has a little bit of the Source magazine, the iconic Source magazine that he was the feature on, and it is R.I.P. for sure. Definitely a musical icon. So yeah, so we have I have a fun little day today set up for you guys. What I have is basically I wanted to get into I really wanted to get into like the battle, the last time these two men possibly will be seeing each other at Anfield, possibly at least as adversaries. It could be the last time that you see these two face off. We still could meet them in the FA Cup, of course, but that is the only likelihood of us seeing them once again. It's pretty much an incredible situation that we're going through with these two guys. I mean, I know that there's a lot of people that are pro Klopp, pro Pep, but what is the biggest memory that you have of this rivalry, Brian? What is the biggest, what is the most iconic memory or the most standout memory that you've had from them? And the chat, please include yours as well. What is your biggest take from their encounters?
It's a good one, yeah. Two of the greatest, without a doubt. Two of the for their respective clubs. Don't think there's much question whether Guardiola is the greatest ever City manager. Jurgen Klopp has stiffer competition because of the history we have. It's still, modern era, definitely. The fact that they're both here at the same time. I get the Pep kind of checkbook things that get thrown around a lot. Of course, there's something to that, but I don't understand why should somebody have to go and coach Colchester or Rotherham for 4 years just to prove that they could? If you can do it at the top level instantly, then why would you sort of waste your time going around? So I have no problem with him only ever being at top clubs, and because that's nowhere near as easy as it sounds, he only had the best players. Well, yeah, like I say, it ain't that easy. So what he's done in the Premier League, whether you enjoy his style of football more or Klopp's style of football, that's another thing people split on. I think we're too biased to even, say what we think. It's obvious what we think. They don't really have, for me, a kind of there's too much respect between the two of them to have created any real fireworks or royalty or a kind of any real kind of noise around them, any real sort of fireworks type moments like the the Ferguson or Benitez years. So for me, it would have to be really just sort of one of the games. And whenever I think about us versus them, the first thing that comes into my head is that Oxlade-Chamberlain goal at Manchester City.
Great,
When I think
great goal. Yeah.
we beat them for the first time, I think it was, or it was definitely one of our earliest ever victory. We went there and we beat them, I think 4-1 or something. But anyway, it was a great victory. I'm not great for scores and that stuff, but that game with that Chamberlain goal, that was like, oh, we're just as good as these. Like, it was kind of a confirmation that we're doing something special. We weren't just able to beat the smaller teams. That Chamberlain goal is the first thing that comes to my mind. So that's what I'd say.
How about for yourself, JK?
I think the rivalry between them guys is what the Premier League needed. It's sort of brought it up to another different type of level now, you know. With the guys coming in, the signings coming into both clubs. But all in all, I feel that Pep Guardiola is a guy who's very confident in himself. And Anfield does something to the brother. He always looks scared when he's there. And he always, like the week before in the interviews and such like that, he's always looking a bit pale, you know. So I think he's got more angst than say Klopp does when we go there, for example. But all in all, I think that rivalry it's been a good one. If it weren't for us, Man City would be walking every season like Bayern Munich do in Germany, you know. So in a weird way, thank God for Klopp that he's come in and sort of rustled some feathers. But we should have won more league titles, I reckon, just in that time period with that rivalry. But yeah, but I think tomorrow for Klopp's last game against them guys, we need to go for the win. You know, the title race at the top is a bit tight now, with 3 guys going for it. So tomorrow, a win should be on the agenda.
Yeah, yeah. What it really symbolized to me is I agree with what you said about how the Prem needed this rivalry. The Prem needed these coaches involved with the league. It needed something of that. That Wenger, Sir Alex, concept. That they needed that great iconic coaches that are going to be bringing in historic teams to battle against each other, and especially since especially for Liverpool, how Klopp has just reinvigorated the I'm trying to think the best word for it. He's revitalized this club in the sense of bringing hope, turning doubters into believers. It was necessary, and to see that happen with these two great coaches and these two clubs that have actually had the best teams in the world, time and time again. It's been a real pleasure to see this ride go. I think if anything, it's kept Pep in the league too as well. I mean, there's been times when Pep has hinted or thought about leaving, apparently, from City, and I think this rivalry was one of those rivalries where it inspired him to not leave and not take away from what they were experiencing as well.
I understand. Agree with that. I said it a while ago. I think I don't know who I said it, but I said to I think it was one of the other fans that was on a thing like they're talking about this and that, and I said, look, Guardiola would have left 4 years ago if Klopp wasn't here. Guardiola was getting bored. Maybe not 4 years ago, but he wouldn't have signed that new deal if Klopp hadn't signed a new deal.
Yep.
He stayed because of that. He didn't want to be walking that league every year either, and that rivalry has driven both of them on. To achieve what Man City probably would have won those leagues, but they wouldn't have need to do it by getting 100 points. They would have just been coasting along and doing it with 86 or 88 points. That's driven them to achieve even more. one that gets overlooked as well. You're talking about Wenger and Ferguson. Wenger and Mourinho, that was absolutely toxic as well. That was a serious rivalry. There's some of the stuff Mourinho used to say about Wenger, calling him a specialist in failure, calling him a voyeur. Also, that was peak Mourinho when it was him going up against Arsene Wenger. And so you can see like the respect that exists between those two managers. They've never gone anywhere near that kind of thing. The stuff Mourinho used to say about Wenger, he used to get, fined for some of these things he'd come out and say. Guardiola or Klopp would never have that kind of disrespect for each other. So maybe it's a little bit too friendly, Maybe they should step it up.
No, I agree with you. I sometimes, I understand being civil. I understand being like, respectful of each other on the pitch or even on the sidelines. But I kind of like it when you have a little animosity. I kind of like it when you don't really like, you respect them, but it doesn't mean that you don't want to win against them. Like it doesn't mean that you don't want to kind of like, do the Triple H, if they score or something like that, if we score, something along those lines. But hey, it's kind of what we need in the game. We need more of that a little bit because it brings the headlines, it definitely brings the eyes, but it shows the passion and intensity. But these guys have reached pinnacles in their careers that it's less about that, I think, and it's more about just the ultimate respect they have for each other and the sheer fact that knowing how difficult it is to be in the place that they're in, and the position that they're in. It's not an easy job to do at all.
But they will meet again. I don't think they're finished. Just quickly, I don't think.
You don't think they're finished?
No, I think Klopp will be back in club management. People seem to think he's retired now and he's gone off to Germany or something. He'll be back in club management within 18 months. Guardiola will go to another club somewhere. They're too young. They're still young men. They're still young.
In coaching terms, yes. Yeah.
Turning into 50. They're like Roy Hodgson was. You watch all these coaches, man. They retire and they come back because they missed the game. They retire for a year. Jurgen Klopp will be back in football and not at some beat up national team job. He'll get his energy back after 6-8 months, and he'll be coaching a top European club. So he might be back at Anfield.
Yeah,
but just in the other double.
Very true. Very true. Well, let's just get into what I know. Some of you guys are joining us from watching. I know Stephen just gave the update. Been watching that game of the 2-1 victory that Arsenal had over Brentford at the Emirates. I know that it's going to be the controversy in that game is definitely going to be reliant on the fact that the goal scorer probably should not have been on the pitch, apparently. But you know what? VAR and PGMOL and all the decisions that they make, it's not surprising that there's a controversy that they're a part of once again. But that is what it is, right? So we move. Doesn't really matter what I've been saying it again, time and time again. Would I like to see Arsenal lose? Would I like to see City lose in the games that we have no direct impact in? Absolutely. I would love for that to happen. However, I can say this much. I could care less if they win or lose now in this part of the season. I'm just caring about whether we win. We win all our games. That's all I care about, We hold our own fortune in our own hands. So, what we make of this season is on us, not on what other teams do. So, but all the same, I am going to show you what it's looking like so far. Obviously, with that victory, they got 3 points. That moves Arsenal up to 64 points. So they are now technically top of the league with each City and Liverpool having a game in hand, obviously, for tomorrow. This is a nice little breakdown also of basically the games against the top 6. And then it's the middle of the pack, and then the green being the bottom 6. So you can see that we do have about 4 games. We each have 4 games against the top 6 teams left. City has a very difficult run coming up for themselves. They have us away, then they have Arsenal at home, then they have Villa at home. But those are 3 top 6 teams that they have to face week to week, 3 straight weeks in a row. And then also, and then they don't have. We have 2 bottom 6 teams left. They have 2 bottom 6 teams left, being City. Arsenal have 3 bottom 6 teams left on theirs. They just took care, or 2 technically, since they just went and handled Brentford, who is a bottom 6 team. Keep in mind, a lot of people think of Brentford as being a lot higher in the table. I think they've got a good team, got a good coach, got some good players on there, but they haven't really been. That hasn't really transferred into wins for them this year. So
Yeah,
but yes,
Tony's situation really didn't help. I think today we knew that Arsenal were going to win. We didn't know by how many goals because they've been banging in goals as well. So a dodgy 2-1, yeah, it's done. As you were saying a minute ago, bro, that for some reason I'm not actually worried about what Arsenal and Man City do. Exactly like what you were saying. I don't even worry that we're gonna win or lose. I just feel that we're gonna win. It's a weird type of energy. It's just like, for some reason this season, I am not bothered about City and Arsenal, what they're doing. Yeah, I want them to lose, of course, but I'm more bothered about us guys. I think we win all our games. It's there for us. The Arsenal City game, if we beat City tomorrow and then City beat Arsenal, that could be a nice little thing as well. So there's a few possibilities now.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this table, we've got a nice little the determining teams, or some teams that can have a real determination in the futures of all 3 of these teams, are really bulked up, like I said, for the City, and they're kind of they're equally spread out for Arsenal. But we have obviously this big game. We have also United as well. It's a rivalry game in there. That's a big game. But other than that, it's more so towards the end of the year that we're going to have to really focus in. But right now, I think we just got to continue to focus on next game up, next man up. Let's do this. I know Brian was telling us earlier in the backstage that he hasn't heard. I haven't heard anything either. I don't know if anyone in the chats had any updates on Konate, but we're all hoping and trusting that it's going to be some good news that we hear. But it is what it is. I also wanted to go into this as well. So getting back to what we were talking about with these 2 coaches, the overall record between these 2 coaches has been 8 wins for Klopp, 6 wins for Pep. This is head to head, and this is only dealing with their Premier League battles. Obviously, not necessarily their matchups in the Bundesliga. But some could say, oh well, do we have the advantage, or is this a determinant on Pep trying to get that notch one game closer to being equaling it up? Who knows? I know that 8 wins to 6 wins means that these guys, this is a pretty even run of matches that we see these guys get results from. It's not like we've handily controlled this our engagements with them, but we've, for the most part, we've either won or we've either drawn in these matches and been a part of these games that have normally tended to be more draws than they have been wins for either team, it seems like sometimes. And especially on the road, considering that Pep hasn't won at Anfield other than the pandemic year. I think that's the only year that he's won. Am I correct on that? All right?
Yeah,
I believe I'm
4-1 at Anfield. 4-1 at
Yeah.
Anfield in 2021,
Yeah.
the COVID year. Oh yeah, sorry, you can't say that word on YouTube. Yeah, the pandemic year.
Pandemic year.
He's got a pretty shocking record at Anfield. That's it. Like it's losses and draws.
More testament that Anfield's got to stand up. I mean, like Jurgen said it in the presser. He's like, it'd be kind of silly for me to, silly for him to have to say that they need Anfield to stand up, but it's saying it without saying it. It's saying it without saying it. We need Anfield to step up. We need Anfield to be Anfield. To not only be Anfield, but to be Anfield on steroids or something, I guess you could say.
Yeah, at least it's not a 12 o'clock kickoff. You've got a much better chance of a really good atmosphere now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think tomorrow will be buzzing. The week's been like Arsenal winning today. That's another reason why they need to step up the volume tomorrow,
Yeah.
I just had a feeling this week that the energy is going to be good at Anfield Sunday. It's going to be loud because they know what it means this game. We went for the league title. Fans are ready for that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get into these predicted. This is my predicted lineup. I'm gonna have these guys kind of like weigh in and have and offer their thoughts on if they would substitute someone in for the choices that I made. So we're doing something a little bit different with the way that we're going to be doing these lineups going forward. So we're not doing. Hopefully you enjoy the presentation here. So let's just get into these predicted lineups. I think it's all safe to say that Kelleher is going to be starting in keeper. Obviously we've had, despite that he didn't get the clean sheet against the Spartans. He had 3 clean sheets before that, but he had an own goal. So it looks like the only way he's been scored on is when his own team scores on him. So hopefully that's not the case come tomorrow, and hopefully it's not the case of Stiddy being able to break that streak of opposition teams being able to score on him. But we can safely say Kelleher, right? You guys are down with that? And in the chat too, if you guys think that I have it wrong or you have another person that would be playing in this role, please tell me, and I'll be sure to include your thoughts. But to the panel, this is a good call, right? We don't think
Adrian's him or Julie in the tea department. You know what I mean? So
right,
it's got to be Kelleher.
Right. No false rumored or fake rumors, fake internet rumors out there about Kelleher being hurt this time. That's good.
That was funny the other day when that sort of rumor just popped up. Then all of a sudden the training video came, and he was in the background near the goal post getting his gloves on or something. I was like, where do these people get the information from, man?
It was a crazy thing about it was like an account apparently that had like maybe like 100 or some odd people that followed him, and he made that he was just, and it wasn't like I don't think he was necessarily trying to start a fake rumor. I think it was more so he just saw that Kelleher didn't come out he wasn't like, he didn't walk out with the rest of the team initially, and he just ran with it. I mean, like, oh my goodness, he's not there, and he just ran with it. But it is what it is. Yeah. If you want the straight dirt, you got to come to the Liverpool 12 Man Show. How about that? I'll be sure to try to do my due diligence. For left back, here's a selection I have for left back. I know this player has been someone that isn't really high on some people's appreciation monitors right now, I guess you could say, but I have Robbo starting tomorrow. You guys in the chat too as well, like I said. Brian, JK, are you cool with Robbo starting tomorrow, or is it that you want to see, or do you want to see Simicast for some odd reason, or not odd reason, but for some other reason, I should say? Brian?
No, Robbo starts for me. He's
Robbo starts.
I know my back four pretty much. He's always been starting for me. Yeah. So okay. I said it the other night. You've got the right mentality for this kind of game. Not just
Thank you. Yes.
He's got the right mentality for it.
JK?
Yeah, same as Brian knocked the nail on the head where he said Robbo's made for these type of games. 100%.
Yeah.
We need his type of energy tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm taking it that the chat's cool with that. What's that?
He loves these type of games.
He loves these games. Yeah, I mean, like some players look forward to these kinds of games. You know, some people like cower or shrink in these occasions. But Robbo does not. I think it's obvious that Virgil's going to start tomorrow too. Our captain is going to be starting tomorrow. Yeah, John Thomas is 100%. You know, that's a no-brainer. I have look, this is where I get it. Kanate, if he is fit enough to be on the bench, he starts. For me.
Oh, if he's starting. Oh, if he's fit, he's definitely he's a starter. Yeah, no problem at all.
Yeah, right. For you too, JK, or would you?
Yeah. If it's not him, Kwanzaa is. Kwanzaa can do a job. You know, has he played a big game like that against City? Someone.
Or Arsenal. He played a big game against Arsenal. Yeah.
Against Arsenal. So. I just feel Kanate is touch and go in it, so we'll see. No one's really said anything today because, like for me, Kanate was on top of his game, stepped up big time. Him and Harvey Elliott in the last few weeks, them two have been for me the top performers. You know, so it's a bit of a disappointment that Kanate was feeling a bit funny the other day. So because he was just hitting form, man, always happens sometimes. You know.
Yeah. This next pick is probably where we're going to start to see some of the differences in opinions. Joe Gomez being the right back. I know some people might have Bradley starting this game. For me, I would just like to see Joe Gomez because I think that Joe Gomez, one, knows the complexities of this game, has the the knowledge, experience. Not saying that Bradley isn't a good player. Not saying Bradley isn't capable of doing a job tomorrow. Excuse me. But for me, I just would like to see Joe Gomez in the right back role so that we could see him possibly even still have that option of inverting him if necessary, or just having Joe Gomez do the more traditional right back / right wing back style of bombing down the right side, and having the pace to take on whoever they put on that left side for City. Are you guys cool with that one too, or do you see Bradley starting in this position?
I
JK?
think if Kanate's playing, I don't mind seeing Bradley at right back, but if Kwanzaa's playing, more than likely I want to see Gomez at right back, if you understand my point. Kwanzaa and Bradley on one side against City, they're going to put a fight in, no problem. But maybe if this depends on who's playing centre back tomorrow, and that maybe depends on the situation on the right back position. So, but for me, Gomez, he deserves to play. I don't know which position, but he deserves to play.
How about Joe Gomez? Oh, I'll save it. Anyway, how about Joe Gomez? But I'll just say it like that. But John Conway was saying, how about Joe Gomez starts center back if Kanate doesn't play? That's a good shout. I don't want to see, and someone asked Brian this too. Excuse me. I don't want to see a Kwanzaa Bradley right side of the pitch. Not because they can't do it again. It's not that I'm not confident in their ability to perform. More so, just in this game, I would just be more. I'd be more at ease knowing that obviously Kanate playing would be great, but if Kanate can't go, if Ibu can't go, then having Gomez, as John suggested, being center back, then put Bradley in at right back. I'm cool with that. But that's all the same. Is that how you look at it, Brian, or do you see it as Gomez needs to just start at right back?
Yeah, he's my right back for tomorrow, and I can kind of explain. I can kind of bring it all together as well for me because because I don't think Canade will start. I think he's out. Right.
Hmm.
I don't think he's going to play tomorrow. So when I'm actually predicting my team in my head, he isn't in it. So, but
Okay. So you have what if
even if he was
Kwanzaa
out,
Gomez,
yeah,
basically?
even if he was even if he was out,
Mhm.
my back four or Gomez is my right back tomorrow because I'm the same as you. For obvious, like you've explained it as well, but for obvious reasons, you don't want Kwanzaa and Brad on one side
Right.
together. I
Right.
don't. So I think Gomez has to start because he's been too good for him not to start. So it's basically the back four that we have, or it'll be Kwanzaa instead of Kanate for me. So even if I wouldn't be playing Joe at centre half
Hmm.
because I don't think he's played there at all this season. I think he's Klopp
It's a good
prefers him
point.
in that wide role.
Good point.
I just
I
think
think he
it'll be
has played
Kwanzaa.
there. I think he has played center back once, but
Yeah, yeah. It's
but that's
just that
once.
security.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
that security of having Joe and Robbo and Van Dijk allows you to have a Kwanzaa in the middle.
Mhm.
I'm with you. I don't want Kwanzaa and Bradley in a game like
Mhm.
this, and it doesn't change. Yeah, for me, Joe starts at right back either way. It
Mhm.
doesn't change. It would be either
Mhm.
Kwanzaa or Kanate. I wouldn't.
Mhm.
Look, if something happens and Joe even had to start the left back, I'm fine. But that's
Mhm.
what I'd be doing tomorrow. That's the most probably locked down one, and then give Bradley a
Mhm.
chance to come on later on. But no, I'm
Mhm.
starting that game with a really rock solid back four. So that's Robbo, Van Dijk, Gomez, definitely in it, and then whatever else has to happen outside of that to make it the four.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I want to see the Robbo Bernardo Silva matchup is going to be interesting. If they did end up putting Phil Foden on the left, the Gomez Foden matchup should be a very interesting one to keep your eye on too. Excuse me. So moving into the midfield, I think it's a natural selection. This is something that a lot of people, I included, have been, keeping my eye on and have been actually very happy to see happen, despite the fact that I have certainly not necessarily warmed, but more so appreciated McAllister's role in the six. But him as a left-sided eight has been either left-sided or even sometimes when he's been filling in on the right side for Dom during his absence. We've gotten some really, really great. I mean, McAllister's really stepped it up this year. He's just continuously bloomed into a real flower. For us this year. You guys cool with McAllister starting on the left side? Brian?
100%. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is what we bought him for. We did like he can play six, but we didn't buy him to play there. So we're seeing the player that we bought and we wanted to get. Yeah, he's a lock every game now.
Yeah, yeah. For you, JK, lock at the
Yeah,
eight. He's
100%.
a
It's
lock at the
like,
eight.
say
Yeah,
again,
that
bro.
position. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was bought to play there, so I think that's why you've seen the improvement in his game recently. Is because he's got the freedom of playing there now. Like Endo's there, doing the job
Mhm.
he was doing back in the days.
Right,
um,
right.
but I'll tell you something funny quickly. They're calling him King Kai. That's how mad football is, bro. They're calling him King Kai.
Oh, okay.
A month ago, they
That's,
wanted to burn the guy's house down.
yeah, I know,
Now they're
man.
calling him King Kai, and that shows you what Arsenal fans are, bro. So no worries
Yeah,
about that. But
yeah.
anyway,
It,
yeah,
it also it also it also shows you why I'm so vocal about us not going that route when it comes
mm-hmm.
to our fanhood, our fandom. But what side to the chat too? What side do you prefer to see McAllister on? Do you prefer to see him on the left or do you prefer to see him on the right? JK, what's your preferred position for McAllister? Do you prefer to see him on the left side
Mm-hmm.
in that eight role, or do you prefer to see him on the right side in that 8.
He's looking okay in the right side as well.
He has. That's why I'm asking the question for sure.
Yeah.
I think he's done a job.
He's done a job there. So maybe if Szoboszlai is playing, that they can just switch it sometimes. Maybe start McAllister left, him right, but during the game, you know how the game goes, they can just switch sides and stuff. Like, I think them two positions can be played like a free role. Like, they can switch positions, but where they sort of drift with the ball, you know, because I think McAllister, he isn't the fastest, but he's a bit of a ball carrier. And I think when he's sort of given a bit of a free role, he can get them passes in. And, you know, the ones that what he's been doing recently, he was actually on the right-hand side that day against Forest. He got the ball from the right, then he sort of flicked it in for Darwin to get that winner, you know. So, yep. I'm just happy that Szoboszlai, Endo, and him are all fit and ready to go. Good midfield.
Yeah, so am I. Spot on with that. You prefer him on the left side, Brian, or do you prefer him on the right side?
Yeah, I think JK is right. I don't know if it's a real thing or whatever, but I call them free 8s. I think that's basically what they are. We have a number
free roaming leads. Yeah.
Yeah, as free as you can be, you know, in a modern football system. But just in terms of when we have the ball, just sort of, you know, but I think he is naturally inclined.
If you push left, cover for him on the right type deal. Yeah.
Yeah. But for balance, in terms of balance, I think him playing on the left really kind of brings the best out of Szoboszlai as well. But I think it seems to, for whatever reason, suit him a little bit better being in that as his starting position in terms of how he likes to receive the ball and things like that. But I think, either side, number 10 and like seeing number 6, he can probably do it all. But that little pocket of space just outside of the box, between the lines, between the midfield and the forwards, anywhere in that area, he's pretty devastating. Left or right, left, middle, right.
Okay. Well, I know that the next guy to have on this list is someone that I think a lot of us have warmed to. Maybe some of us have even picked up language lessons to kind of be able to communicate better with him. But in that DM role is definitely going to be Wataru. Endo is certainly he's certainly made this fan base definitely, you know, take a complete 180 on their takes and their approaches towards this young man, or this, I say young man, but all the same, this man, I should say. But I still think that tomorrow's going to be a big game for him to have to, like, you know, he's going to have a lot to do tomorrow. And, you know, having 2 free 8s, as Brian put it, you know, that like to push forward, you know, it's going to mean that he's going to have a lot of pitch and a lot of responsibilities tomorrow. So I'm hoping that Endo can step up and be that guy tomorrow. I'm not only hoping, but I'm believing he will be. But I think he's going to be the DM for us tomorrow that is going to make a difference, you know. So hopefully that's the case. I wanted to go through these a little bit quicker too, because I know most of these are kind of like almost towards our midfield. It's a pretty much no-brainer style pick too, you know, like when it comes to our midfield. Dom's healthy. Yeah.
He's playing.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I think Endo now is
okay. Sorry, I just think Dom definitely starts. Yeah, the tree, it is picking it out. But there's, I don't think Dom has 90 minutes in his leg. I think, you know, did he get one game back? He got a bit of a. I don't think, because this is you're talking about Endo, and when I'm talking about the free 8s as well, I'm talking about obviously, like, when we're attacking, we have possession. I don't know if we're going to have, you know, this is Man City tomorrow, so they're also going to have to do that defensive side as well. So Szoboszlai running hard against that Man City midfield for 90 minutes. I don't think he's
it's going to be tough. It's going to be a lot of work.
So
A lot of the work. I mean, yeah, we're trusting a lot of workload, a heavy workload for our midfield tomorrow, because most likely Pep is going to come out with a 3-2-4-1, where even Rodri and Stones in those two holding roles, and he'll have Foden. We'll have probably even we'll have definitely Silva on the right, and then we'll have KDB, and then he'll probably even have probably
Alvarez might start. Alvarez
Yeah.
might start. Grealish is injured. Doku is injured.
Kovacic,
so
maybe Kovacic maybe.
He could. Yeah, I think Rodri, De Bruyne. Yeah, it just depends. Because see, the thing is, this is also, we're talking about his record at Anfield. He's also, like, this reputation he has for kind of making crazy tactical changes. Pep, I mean.
Mm.
Playing Rodri at right back, and playing I don't know, John Stones at left wing or something in a game. Like, a lot of that comes from the European Cup, but a lot of it comes from Anfield as well. He's made some weird changes because JK was spot on earlier on. He does always look frightened at Anfield. He does.
Right.
He knows, and he shouldn't, but I think it does frighten him sometimes into making some strange tactical choices. So
overthinking like the whole Pep overthought this type thing. Yeah,
all of that stuff comes from the games in the European Cup and some against us. So, but Dom will have, the whole midfield will have an awful lot of work to do tomorrow. So, I think Dom for an hour, and then probably Harvey.
Okay. I can see that too. I think we're definitely going to see Harvey in some capacity in this game in one way, and I'm sure Harvey's got it in his mind that he wants to get on that pitch and make a difference. Yeah. Be a super sub or a hero in this game for sure. I think, again, the front line. I'm gonna go through these really quick too, because I think the front line pretty much picks itself. I mean, realistically, there's a lot of different. Say what you will about Cody, but I don't think Cody's going to be, involved in this game, at least starting. I'm not saying he's not going to be involved, but he's not going to be involved in this game starting. And I think when it comes down to it, you're going to have Diaz in the left wing. You're going to have Darwin in the middle. And then you're going to have Sal on the right. I mean, that's just pretty basic of, the level of this game and the amount of attention that is being placed on the importance of this game, being a possible title decider, as some people like to call it. That's our best front three, hands down. Salah has gotten some attempts at being match fit. Hopefully we can get I would like to see a 90 out of him. Excuse me. But I don't know if we can. I mean, I'm hoping we get a 90 out of Salah. Diaz has played a lot of minutes, but I mean, I think Diaz also understands that that's the reason why we saw Diaz get subbed off in that Sparta game. Nunez as well. I mean, like, Nunez was on a hat trick early. Basically in that game, and after we saw Konate get pull up a little lame, 5 minutes later, Nunez was off the pitch too. I doubt like Klopp said, I'm going to play Nunez for only 5 minutes of the second half. But I mean,
that was just weird.
I guess he was basically saying, I'm not taking any chances with this with this lead that we have in the Sparta game.
The team you've actually picked, bro, bar two players, that's our first 11.
Yeah.
Kelleher and say Kwanzaa, for example. Alisson, Konate coming for them. That is probably our first 11.
It is, yeah.
So,
I would say I have Konate in it. I'll show you. Actually, no. Let me show you this. So, a little fun part of it, as I said. So here's my predicted starting 11 again. The basic boil down. I did include a bench too, so I'll show you the bench too, just the names, but we'll go real through quick. And basically, Kelleher and net, and I had Robbo, then I had VVD, Konate, than at Gomez. Obviously, that
Right.
I would have loved to have been able to utilize Trent, but I mean, Gomez is going to have the opportunity to really be that patron for us tomorrow and hold it down for us. You know, on the left side, we have Mac 10. We have, which is kind of crazy because it does look like he's holding two guns. But anyway, in that one. And yeah, Endo in the middle, Dom on the right, Diaz on the left, Nunez in the middle, and Salah on the right wing. I think that's a pretty safe bet. And I mean, with the bench, you know, with the substitutes that we have that we're going to utilize, Bobby Clark, I see being on the bench.
Yeah.
Cody being on the bench, Kwanzaa being on the bench, Connor, Simicast, Harvey. These I didn't put everyone's picture in here, by the way. And Dan's is an interesting selection for at least. I'm hoping that we'll have Dan's available. I think Dan's could be a player that we could see possibly get involved in this game in one way or another, just to give us maybe another burst of energy. You know, I don't necessarily know if we're going to see that. We probably won't see that unless we are, you know, at a draw or something at the moment. Maybe you bring him in just to try to give a burst of energy, but
or injure
do
their
you
goalie.
think? Yeah.
I'm just telling you, Klopp will be like that. He'll be on the sideline when he's waiting for him to do it. Edison,
Right.
just take that brother out.
Right. Oh man,
It could be a wild card
yeah.
game. It could be one of those. It could be a bit of a wild card game. It could be one of those where it actually takes, because you mentioned earlier on, there's a lot of draws. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if, you know, 1-1 after 80 minutes, and we bring on a Dan's to shake it up a bit.
Shake it up a bit or something, you
know. Yeah. Nunez goes to the left, Dan's comes on up front, Diaz goes off. You know, we just change something up a little bit. And they don't know Dan's. They're not used to watching him. He's a new guy, new kid. They don't know anything about him. So, I mean, we've seen it happen before. It's kids that have quality, and the players that drop against don't know anything about them. They don't know what way they like to run, where they like to go. And you can steal in on one of these guys. I wouldn't be at all surprised if something like that happened. Now, it might happen for them. You know, they got Oscar Bob and people like this that can come on. They've got good people on the bench. But if it's 1-1, why not throw on Dan's for 10 minutes?
Yeah.
You know, why not?
No, you're right about that. You're definitely right about that.
And the bench looks okay.
So, yeah.
Considering.
So, all right, I'm gonna say what's your score and score predictions? And that's for the chat too. I'll show you real quick. John Conway says his score is 2-1. Nunez and Salah to score. Steven says 3-2. And he's got Jaden Dan's is available. He should be available. It was concussion protocol. Normally, you know, considering that he's missed the amount of days he has, normally it doesn't. Normally, it's like 2-3 days that you at least get to go with the protocol to return from a concussion. You know, it's not a guarantee. I mean, if the guy is still feeling headaches or he's still feeling a little, you know, still not really all with it, then that's a different story. But I'd like to see Jaden, JD be available. Dustin has a 3-0. What's your score, Brian? What's your score and your scores for tomorrow?
I think it'll be 2-1. 2-1 to us. I think Salah will show up for a big game. Maybe another McAllister penalty. But it'll be close.
Okay, first off, if we get a penalty and McAllister steps up to take that penalty kick and Salah's cool with it, that's going to be interesting.
No, I was
That's
thinking
gonna
maybe
be.
Salah might be. Yeah. Salah might be off the pitch. Yeah. No,
Okay.
Salah will
Sal's
have
off the pitch.
Salah will have an impact. Salah will have an impact tomorrow. But we're not.
Right.
Man, I'm just nervous. This is a really hard game. This is a
It
really
is a
not.
difficult game to. Yeah, it's a difficult game
I'd
to
take a
gauge.
draw. I would. I'd take a draw. Do you know what I mean? I just know we can't lose
Mhm.
this game. So if it
You
has to be
can't
a
lose.
draw,
Yeah,
if
it's
it has
not.
to be a
Yeah.
1-1, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take that. But just do not lose it,
Yeah.
especially not with Arsenal winning today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's why I didn't want them to win today.
Yeah, I was hoping to get it. I wasn't even hoping for a loss. I was just hoping if I got a draw, I would have been happy out of that
Yeah, draw
result.
would have been cool. Yeah.
But for a freaking King Kai, man.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, whatever.
I think that
JK,
Arsenal result
score
sort of.
prediction?
I think the Arsenal score just took the shine of everything,
Right.
But don't worry. Tomorrow, I think the Anfield crowd, and normally I like Brian's predictions. He's pretty good at them, so I'm gonna go with what he's saying, 2-1. Yeah, he's pretty good with his predictions, man. So a nice 2-1.
Nice 2-1.
Yeah, nice 2-1. That'd be cool.
Yeah, because they will score. Come on, we know they'll score. They're City.
Yeah.
We have to back them. It'd be silly to say, "Oh, clean sheet." Yeah, I really can't see a clean sheet. So we're going to have to score twice to win, and I can't see us battering them by 3. So that kind of leaves me at 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But saying
Dustin and Jarrett, I don't think it's silly, because I actually have it being 2-0 tomorrow. So I know Dustin's saying he sees 3-0. Realism Jarrett says 1-0. Hey, I'm just saying I'm putting a lot of faith in your countryman, Brian. I'm putting a lot of faith in that. You know what? Like Kelleher, I think he's gonna have. I'm hoping and thinking and wanting, obviously, but hoping he's gonna have some really, really off the hook style saves that make you go, wow, he's a player, he's a man of the match contender or something like that. That's what I'm looking for tomorrow. And to really, they're going to have their opportunities. They're definitely going to have their opportunities. It's just a matter of hopefully there's a couple offsides, or there's like a shot that Kelleher can stand up and just make a crazy save on. That's what I'm hoping for. But that's just me. I have 2-0, and I have Darwin and Salah both scoring.
Okay, I just feel that tomorrow that Endo and McAllister have to do a lot of tag teaming to win that ball back in midfield, because Silva and Foden, they're like little mice with the ball, in between the lines and stuff. So tomorrow, McAllister playing the 6, what he did earlier on in the season has actually benefited him as an all-round player, I believe. So when he goes into tackles, he sort of wins a lot of close little battles, and I think tomorrow is going to be that type of game where him and Endo will be going in, and I think Endo needs to calculate when he wants to get a yellow card.
There you go.
Yeah.
If possible.
He just does. Yeah. Because what they're like. They're going to be doing Hollywood. They thought they're going to do about 2 or 3 rolls, no problem.
I think it's going to be great. That's why I said the one of the interesting matchups tomorrow to me is going to be Bernardo Silva and Robbo, and how they get involved, because Bernardo Silva is going to be doing his thespian act for sure tomorrow.
Needs to win that battle. No, you're 100% correct. Robbo has to win that battle because Silva is now. Look, we kind of call out our own players for having these things, and I know Bernardo Silva took it a bit too far and all that, but that guy is the king at what he does. You know what I mean? He's also an unbelievable gifted footballer. Yeah, he's very difficult to get the ball off when he's in form. He could dribble and pass. You know what I mean?
Talent, absolute talent, absolute world talent. So, absolutely.
You get him in one of his moods, and I think Robbo is a good matchup for him. because
Mhm.
Robbo won't take any of his shit. But it just comes down to when something kicks off between the two of them, and something will kick off between the two of them. It's just almost inevitable that Robbo needs to come out on the right side of it. Let Silva get the yellow card.
Yeah.
Let
Yeah.
Silva get booked for dive. You know, let him take the ball and go, right, you're on a yellow now, mate. Don't get dragged into it with him, because it'll probably, the stuff we can't see, like the stuff, like some of the stuff these guys say to each other. Like Silva will, I would imagine, is going to be talking all game. You know, just every time he's near someone, a little kick, a little tap, whatever it might be. So that's where these games are kind of won and lost, is the mentality of the players. So as long as Robbo, Virgil is up for and ready for that Haaland battle, you know, whoever needs to stop Rodri doing his thing, whoever is tasked with stopping Rodri controlling the game, because it won't be Endo. Endo's going to be 20 yards away from Rodri. So if it's about Szoboszlai, Nunes dropping back, McAllister pressing him, whatever it needs to be, you need to win those key battles. Now, I fancy Nunes against most of their defenders because they're a bit mix and match, but they're a good defense. But Ederson isn't as clean as he used to be. So
let's hope he's crazily dirty tomorrow.
Yeah, key battles, man, all over the pitch. Little key battles all over the pitch. And without Doku, they're lacking a bit of a game breaker. Someone that can just open up and cause chaos, like Diaz does for us, just cause chaos down that left-hand side by running at people and running at people and running at people. They don't have that now. That's a big outlet for them. So that might be helpful for us as well.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm looking at what's going to happen when that back line of Ake and Diaz and Walker, I'm looking at when they have to look forward at this team, what they're going to be able to do with a Mo Salah, with a Nunez, with a Diaz, all in form, hopefully inform all three players. It's going to be simply a great game. I have a fun little thing for us to do right here. So two different little concepts here. Luis Garcia, one of our, would you say Luis Garcia is a legend? Would you say he's a legend?
He's a cult hero.
Cult hero?
Yeah,
I want to make sure I get the right terminology before I
was getting flashbacks from that show you did, remember?
Is he an icon? Is he a cult hero? Is he a legend?
No, but I mean, he's the archetype of cult hero. Because cult heroes have to be just kind of also, legends can be legends, but you have to be loved and adored. And Luis Garcia didn't even hang around that long or actually do that much.
He did.
But he is one of the most loved players.
He is.
Nobody talks about Luis Garcia without smiling or without laughing or without going, "Oh, what a player!"
Yeah.
He was only here 5 minutes.
He's always bigging up Liverpool. He's always bigging up Liverpool on
exactly,
Twitter and
JK. That's what I meant, Brian. That's what I meant by a legend, or even your status as whatever it is, cult hero, icon, legend, whatever the terminology that you use for some of these accolades for these players that end up retiring or leaving.
Do you know what the kids would call it? Do you know what the kids would call him? The kids would call him the ultimate streets won't forget player. That's what they call him.
There you go.
The ultimate streets won't forget, because he doesn't have the medals. He doesn't have the 3 European Cups or the yada yadas that all our legends have. But that guy, he kind of epitomized a certain era, and it was the Rafa Benitez, Three Amigos, Spanish era. Alonso, Garcia, Torres, Benitez. He just tied it all together, because that's when Spain were like the best in the world, and everybody wanted to copy Spain and what Spain were doing. It was all about Spanish stuff. And Garcia was just, and look, he was a good looking man. He looks good in photos. He looks great when he's in those. Just so it's Igor Biscan. You know what I mean? You don't want to have an Igor Biscan poster on your wall. That'll keep your children up.
Right.
It'll keep the kids up at
Right.
night. Whereas Elias Garcia,
Right.
you look at him, his big happy smiley face, and you proper like
Yeah.
old school
Sometimes.
indie band hair, brilliant. Absolutely, just that he encapsulates that Spanish time at Liverpool so well.
Mm-hmm.
What I was gonna say in his defense too is that like whenever you see, you know how like sometimes you'll see, for instance, like Jurgen Klinsmann, like he puts up like when he does like his telecast or something like that, he'll put up a Spurs kit behind him, or something like that. And I'm like, that's cool, I get it. You play for Spurs, you represent Spurs, Garcia does the same. He puts up like as in he might have two of the teams that he played for, but he'll always have Liverpool as one of the clubs that he represents in the background. And I'm like, that I appreciate, man. You didn't turn your back on us.
They
You know what I
fall in
mean?
love.
I
A lot of them
appreciate.
fall in love when they come to England. A lot of those players, especially when they came back in the day, they genuinely fall in love with England. Like Bonsi Benitez, but Rafa Benitez's wife and his two kids have never left Liverpool. They still live there. Like she never left.
Yeah, yeah,
To her,
yeah.
his daughters are Scousers, like Rafa Benitez.
That's
There's
the reason
loads of
why
them.
Alonso. That's the reason why Alonso. There's like why there could be a shout to see Alonso come back because I mean, his kids grew up as Scousers. Like as in
They're
they
all
have Scout.
Liverpool fans.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's
Garcia
I love.
ended up. Yeah, I just want to quickly say that Garcia ended up going to Atletico Madrid when Torres came to us around the same time. Like he just went on the shady because I think Torres coming was so big news that no one really noticed that Garcia went to Madrid. It was just weird.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I remember that. But Brian,
Well,
what you were
hopefully,
saying
guys.
about, I was just saying what Brian was saying about Bernardo Silva, that he needs to get him in a bad mood. Get him in a bad mood, he ain't gonna play good. And I think Robinson's the sort of guy who can give him that little prodding along, So it's true. Robinson has to play smart.
Yeah, no, I get you. Yeah, I was gonna say hopefully we can hopefully no one's trying to pull parachutes on us before we get to this fun little section here because if you do, hey, that's on you. You guys are gonna miss out. This is gonna be kind of fun. These two little next segments that I have. So this was he picked a combined 11 for the Liverpool. I know some people don't like combined 11, some people do. It's just a fun way of just kind of involving yourself in the conversation, like who you thought, who you can appreciate on each team, in my opinion. This was according to Garcia. Actually, this was his combined 11. He had Salah on the left, which is very interesting. He had Holland in the middle and Diaz on the right. I don't exactly understand that one, but all the same,
I think that's the compiler. I think that's whoever actually put that on the screen for him. I think he just gave them a list of 11 names, and some idiot got them on the wrong side. Look at Rodri. Okay. He obviously means Rodri in the middle. You know what I mean? So I'll take the 11. I'll ignore the positions that some guy somewhere has decided to put them.
I can see that. I can see what you're saying. Yeah,
I was ready to take his cult hero status away then.
Exactly. Right. Because he has Rodri on the right doesn't necessarily work out that well with the. Even though I mean, De Bruyne in the middle would be exceptional if you had him as like a more of like a cam, but like, but yeah, he had Foden, De Bruyne, Rodri. He had Robertson on the left, Van Dijk. He had Diaz. He had Walker, and he had Ederson in goal. Now keep in mind these are players that are available too. By the way,
okay.
And manager Jurgen Klopp. You went with Klopp as manager. I like that.
But he went with Jurgen Klopp as manager. Right? Yeah. That's him saying big up to my Kaiser. Yeah. He knows that he's got to. He knows what. I mean, the Liverpool Legends game is coming up pretty soon. I'm sure he knows where his bread is buttered. He's not going to do something. Yeah, exactly. But I was thinking, this made me think, okay, cool. Like I can understand some of the selections that he had. I'm glad to see that he didn't try to cheat and put Foden in as a left wing or something like that. He properly put Foden in the midfield. So it got me thinking as to like, okay, well then who would our who would you have as a all-time Pep and Klopp all-time 11? And this is going to be, we'll go position by position. I already have my selections. You guys can tell me who you think or who you would have put in as a substitute, or who you would substitute in that role if it comes to a player that you don't agree on. That's for the chat. And obviously the panel, Brian and JK, you can do the same as well. You can definitely hold up your blue card or whatever you guys want me to do if I say a name that you're just like, no way. All right. So let's get into this. All right. Just the section I thought would be kind of fun for everyone in the chat too. So I'd like to see how people feel about this. Now, this is I'm gonna say this caveat for the ratings. Okay. This isn't like the overall career or the longevity of the player playing in this position. None of that stuff. This is just saying on an individual year that they played for either team, that could be your reasoning for the candidate to be there. Okay. So there's like I'm not trying to give it too many spoilers, but maybe hypothetically you think Aguero should be there at the striker position, or maybe you think Bobby should be there because of a certain year that Bobby played. Well, then you can say that is the reasoning behind it, as in it could be just on you could say like a 2019 VDD, something like that. That's the player that's getting into this role. Okay, that's how we're doing this. All right, that's how I compiled this list. I didn't do it on how long he played for the team and not any of this. Understood? Everyone understand?
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, we get it.
Okay. So starting this off, I thought easiest one to go with was obviously I had Ali in goal. I think Alisson is possibly, not only a world talent, but I think he's making an argument to be possibly easily the greatest goalkeeper in Premier League history for us. I understand there's more than just a Premier League. The league didn't just start, 30 some odd years ago, obviously. So I understand that. But in this era, and this is just during Klopp and Pep as well, I think easily he is the best goalkeeper we've seen in this role. We can all put our hands up and say that, right?
100%.
100%. Red for Life saying best keeper in the world. Definitely. All right. Next on the list, we're going to go to the left side of the pitch. We're going to go to left back. I had Robbo as being the less. He has arguably been the best left back in the world for multiple years. I think that during the Pep and Klopp era, I think he's been, an icon for us as well, as in just an amazing player, a true steward to this team. And I just think that Robbo's the left back that you got to go with. Am I wrong on that one, or am I? Tell me when I know there's going to be some that are going to make people say no. Okay. So that's why I want to make sure we're all good with the left back, right? Because I don't think City's really had a dominant left back really ever.
No, they haven't. Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
City, they haven't really had a left back.
Oh, hang on. Now I see what we're doing. I thought we were doing Klopp v Guardiola. Okay, so it's now I get you. So it could have been Ederson, or it could have, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, now I get you. I thought we were doing Klopp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we were just doing the best 11 for Liverpool and that first the best.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a proper combined.
Right.
Have they had a better left back than?
Tell me in the chat too, guys. You guys think of a left back for City? I don't think there has been.
I mean, before all the things with the stuff and the nonsense, Mendy was unbelievable. That guy
Okay.
was just as attacking and just as effective and just as outrageous as Robertson was.
Okay.
Couldn't stay fit, but yeah, like I said, all the kind of the things that happened afterwards, unfortunately, kind of that ended his career. But he would be the closest. I mean, do you know, like just being devil's advocate, Joe Cancelo played left back for them, and he is a world class footballer.
Yeah,
Joe
yeah.
Cancelo played right back for them, left back,
Okay.
center,
So
holding
then do this,
midfield.
Brian. Brian, do this
But
then.
no,
This is
no,
what I mean
I'm
by
gonna land. I'm gonna land. No, I gotta land.
take
I gotta land.
Robbo's best
I
year
gotta land.
and take Cancelo's best year.
I was
Who would you
about to.
take?
I was about.
Yeah.
That's what I was
Okay.
about to
Sorry.
do. No, I get it. I get
Yeah.
it. I was going to land. I was going to land. I was going to say that even with all that, just as an out and out left back, it would be. Yeah, I still go with Robbo, but I just wanted to throw out a few kind of that Mendy was good back when he was,
Cancelo's a good shout though.
and Cancelo
I didn't
was
really think
world
Cancelo's
about
class.
it.
big.
Yeah,
But he
Cancelo's a good
never
shout.
really kind of played left. He Robbo is a real out and out left back. So I think he kind of gets it for that. But
This is gonna
I
be
think
fun.
Cancelo had beef with Pep big time.
Yeah, this is gonna be
yeah,
fun. I
Big
mean,
time.
because I thought Robbo was like the easiest. Ali, I thought these first two choices were probably the easiest to make, or two of the easiest ones to make. But I got you now. I got you guys.
yeah.
I'm excited to
No
see
shouts
how
for
we go on
Claudio
this list.
Bravo. No shouts for Claudio Bravo. I'm amazed.
Mhm.
Legendary goalkeeper.
Yeah, there you go. That's true. Yeah. Um. All right. I went with company
Mm.
as being
I'm
Mhm.
glad you did, so
choice.
I didn't have to. I'm glad you
Yeah.
did that. I'm glad you did that,
Yeah.
to be honest, because I
I didn't
thought, oh
want
no, he's not going to pick company, and I'm going to have to make a case for company. So I'm glad you did that.
to. There's a strong shout. Now, hear me out. There's a strong shout to say that Matip is on the level of a company. There's been years that
Mhm.
we've said Matip has been better than VVD. So I mean,
I never,
there are
no,
some
no,
years where
I never said that.
some campaigns that Matip has been the
Mhm.
guy. But I'm going to still
Only
give it to
because
company.
Matip can only ever been rated above Virgil by, I don't know, some kind of lunatic. Or because Virgil
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
I know, no, Matip was never better than Virgil, unless there was
Okay.
extenuating circumstances, like Virgil come
Mm-hmm.
back from an injury. And
Mm-hmm.
it has been a weak position for us. I don't know what Jake I think, but I think apart even up until now with Kanate and latter day fit Matip, we always did kind of struggle in that second centre half role. We
Mhm.
had a Van Dijk, but we were always, Gomez was great, but then he got injured. We've never had a really outstanding other centre half until now. Kanate has come on, and maybe Quant in
Mhm.
the future. So that's why I'd be fully on board with. I'm assuming the other one is BBD. So I think you'd have to
Yeah.
push
Yeah,
company.
yeah,
Company definitely is
yeah.
better than any of our.
Yeah.
Yeah, the next best because VVD is head and shoulders. I mean, it's ridiculous, really.
Yeah. BBD. Put it this way.
Hopefully, Kanate.
BBD is wearing the armband for me, even though company is a established and a really great captain for them. VVD is the captain of that back line. It's not company, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Just
Here
on
we go
talent
now.
alone.
This next one is going
Here
to be
we
interesting.
go. Exactly. Moving on. So, like so far, this is what I've had as the 4 selections. Now, I I'm saying Trent is in this argument. I think that despite the fact that I get that, this is my argument for Trent. Trent has been referred to as the world's best right back. I've never really heard people making an argument to say that Walker is the undisputed world's best right back. There's been years upon years, consecutive years, that Trent has been regarded as the world's best right back in the world. You do a Google saying, boom, that's your best right back in the world. Never have I like, done that same search and Kyle Walker pop up as that player. Now, I'm not saying Kyle Walker's not great. I'm not saying Kyle Walker isn't a phenomenal player. I just think that so often Trent and this Kyle Walker thing is just it's just not fair. It's not fair. Trent brings you so much more than Kyle Walker for me personally. But hey, I'd love to hear what you guys think.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think? Am I wrong
Yeah.
or am I right? Or do you have some other opinion?
I think Trent was the next chapter of the right back position, where he burst on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been successful since he's been with us, every right back ever since have sort of molded their game on him, on how he
Mm-hmm.
plays. That's how big this
Mm-hmm.
guy is, I think this season has been a bit of a weird one for him. He hasn't really been available for a long time now. But overall, him and Kyle Walker's speed, but Trent's passing and football genius is the ideal right back. But for me, Trent, 100%. And just like, realism Gerard was saying about Cancelo, not
Cancelo, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cancelo, not being part of the team and stuff. But in football, it might not be beef, it might be chicken. But that's going to be beef there, if you understand the point. When a guy who's playing regular football, he's probably one of the best players in his position, all of a sudden is getting loaned out to Bayern Munich and whoever else wants him, So that's some
Yeah.
chicken or something.
Yeah,
It's not
because that's
vegetarian.
think about it. If you're such a great talent, world class talent like that, you even if you had a little bit of a even if you had some issues or whatever, you try to figure out a way to work it out as a coach. But I mean, Pep was like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm good." Kick rocks, bro.
Yeah.
I would have don't
You
want
got
to disagree
Walker?
with you. No, I don't want to disagree with JK, but I don't agree with maybe that Trent has reinvented this role or invented this new role, because the player we were just talking about, Joe Cancelo, was embarking from fullback to play in midfield 3 years ago
Mm-hmm.
for City. And
Mm-hmm.
it's also, like JK is saying, Trent's a football genius with the ball at his feet. Not
Right.
every right back can do. It's just, it's you can ask somebody to do what Trent does, but for them to actually be able to do it with the ball at their
Mhm.
feet is a completely different story. So
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a bit of a unicorn player in terms of what his abilities are. And I think this is just more a tactical approach. I really do think it comes down to a simple a way to, because everyone's playing with three in the middle, you want to create a 4 versus 3 overload in the middle. That's all this is
Mm-hmm.
based on, is creating
Mm-hmm.
4v3s in the middle. Some teams are doing it with more technically gifted players than others, but there'll come a time. Football is cyclical. I think this one can be snubbed out a lot more easily. So I don't think it's like going to be like the change from 4-4-2 to 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3. I can see wide fullbacks coming back, which I wouldn't mind seeing Trent do either, because he's just as good at that. And
Mm-hmm.
it's the Walker thing. I think probably for about 18 months he might have been the best right back in the world. Maybe about 5 years ago, when he was at his absolute peak, and Trent was
Mhm.
still like 21, and before Trent kind of really
Exactly.
exploded.
Exactly.
Uh,
Yeah.
Walker
Yeah.
has incredible recovery pace, which allows him
Absolutely.
to get forward and come back. Like at Tottenham, he was like the original version of Trent, basically, or the
Mm-hmm.
original attacking right back, where getting down, crossing the ball in, getting wide, putting unbelievable crosses into the box. He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't do, that's what fullbacks used to do. Trent just did it and then added a load more spice to it by doing everything
Mm-hmm.
else on top. But then, Walker never went in midfield. But for a time, yeah, he probably would have been. but his piece allows him to get that high up pitch, chase back if he's out of position and get a tackle in, and that's what made him world class, was the ability to be able to have that speed and do it. Like Reece James is awesome, but Reece James
But that's
on his day can't stay, or he
okay.
can't stay fit. Reece James on his day is awesome. Reece James is unstoppable on his day, but he's
Right.
missed half his career through injury.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So it's you've got guys out there that are unbelievable, but Trent, yeah, he still tops them all. But I'm just trying to give some shout outs to some other players, but
No, that's understandable. That's understandable. I was just gonna say though. I was just gonna say though that your point makes my point too, though, in that you said Reece James. I've heard more so than not when it comes to the argument of who's the best right back in the world, much less if even in the Prem, it's always been or has been for quite some time, Trent versus Reece. Not Trent versus Kyle Walker. Not Reece versus Kyle Walker. It's always been Trent versus Reece.
Yeah, primarily. And Kyle was always been kind of the second kind of next best guy or something. Top tier. Like everyone thought Reece James was going to be the next something else, but the guy has literally missed 50% of his
But his injuries, his injuries have hurt him immensely.
You want to talk about one player?
Yeah.
Darn.
Why I'm saying that is that it's never been Walker in that conversation. Walker has trophies. I get that, Dustin. But like realistically, we're just going on individual player talents and everything such. And I just know that whenever someone makes an argument, or whenever someone's like, "Oh, who's the best right back in the world?" It's always Trent has always been in that conversation. I can't say Kyle Walker has always been in that conversation. I can say Reece James, yes, he's been in that conversation. Less so than not lately because of injuries, but yeah.
Do you remember it was about maybe 2 years ago? It was when Leicester were doing really, really well under Brendan Rodgers, and Trent was kind of brave. Trent had really established him at this stage, and Reece James was fit. That season, there was an argument for Trent, Reece James, and Ricardo Pereira at Leicester. Ricardo Pereira in that previous 18 months was awesome. He was unbelievable. He was one of definitely up there in the Premier League for second, third best right back. Reece James was in the equation then. I'd say since then, obviously Pereira got a bad injury and they've been relegated. Reece James has probably again missed 50% of the game since, and Trent has just gone off in stratosphere. But there was that season. It was like, oh, who's better, James, Trent? Well, I think Pereira is better. There was a bit of that talk for a while, but since then, it's basically just been Trent.
Right. That's the reason why I know a lot of people, say, oh, well, defensive issue that, or their concept of what a right back is. I'm just moving on from that. Let's just. I think we can all say so far this list is okay. Then we're all good with this list so far.
That's cool. Okay. The Trent I was talking about, Brian, is the one that first came on the scene. The one that had that drive in him, that to show the world who he is. And I think it came to a point where that sort of died down. That desire, that desire. I want to be number one for some reason. He's a young guy, you know what I'm saying, and he's gonna have off-field things to do and stuff. It happens, you know what I'm saying. So I just feel that the Trent that we first seen on the scene, we sort of missing that, and him going into midfield is not, for me, in a weird way, sort of messed his game up as well. Do you remember the days when he would get the ball on the right wing and just cross it in, bang, goal? And that's where he got a lot of his assists from, crossing the ball from the right. And we lack that in the team now. So yeah, he's trying to advance as a player to turn into a midfield player, but that should have been explained at the start of the season. Yep, Trent, you're playing in midfield this season. You're not playing right back. But he's always started games at right back and then ended up playing in midfield. Every game he's done that. So we're missing that right wing, right with him and Salah getting crosses into the box. So that's sort of changing our Even Robertson don't really get that many crosses in.
No, because
again,
Trent
bro?
is inverting. Because Trent is inverting, and then we have a back three, so Robert doesn't go forward as much. Yeah, our old style attacking buccaneer and fullbacks up and down the line. That's gone. And I miss that. I miss that football because we were devastated.
Yeah, no, yeah, and that's also the reasons why I think that some of the criticism that's leveled onto Robbo isn't necessarily it's got a little bit of grain of salt for me in that he's playing a different role. He's not playing that same, swashbuckling style of a left back going down the left. It's a little bit. He does it every once in a while, or he does have that still in the game. But yeah, I'll big up to Roll Me One Kenobi. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that immensely. Definitely appreciate that. I want to move on to the midfield here. I saw Red for Life had his midfield being Silva, KDB, and Fabinho as his midfield. Good shout, my brother. Good shout. Let's see who I chose and see what the panel thinks of it, and see what you think of it as well, by the way. Okay, so first off, I think it's an argument. It's a very big argument. Albeit, I'm gonna leave this caveat too, because I made this list with Bayesian Pops and with Chris, actually, from Bayesian Reds TV. I told them we're gonna both be able to utilize this list. They might supplement one or two of my decisions, my executive decisions for my show to be on here. But Rodri for them was the choice at DM. I was more on the lines of defending. I guess you can call it the Liverpool bias if you want that or not. But I was more on the lines of what Red for Life is saying. I know it could be considered maybe reactionary bias. I get Rodri is world class. He's arguably the best at the DM role at this moment of his career in the world. May I say? He's a machine. Yeah, absolutely. Roll Me One Kenobi says as well. I agree that he is a machine. I just can't. I think I don't want to do a disservice to Fabinho, because Fabinho was the greatest DM at a time, or I say greatest, but world-class DM. He was considered to be the top in the world at the DM role for multiple years, by the way, not for like a single individual year, but for like multiple years. There is an argument to say that Fabinho was the guy. And I agree, you can make an argument for what he's saying, what Dustin's saying right here over the Rodri choice. Fernandinho was very well coveted, was an absolute steward for City, in that role, long before Rodri even was a thought. But Fabinho was so crucial to what even Romy One Kenobi says. During that Champions League year, even the Premier League year, he was a major difference. And that's where during the years that he was considered to be the world's best DM. But I got outvoted. So that's why Rodri is here. Pops and Chris voted Rodri as that choice. How do you guys feel? To the chat as well. But let's go JK first. JK, how do you feel about that? Do you have Rodri as the locked-in choice for the combined 11, or do you see it from my angle, saying that Fabinho should be the guy?
Oh, that's a tricky one. That I think that's probably the most difficult position so far. That and the right back. Fabinho won a Champions League, won a Premier League. Rodri's won numerous Premier Leagues, won a Champions League. How do I explain
Would you?
it?
How about just rate Rodri? I mean, I know Rodri's still on an incline in his performances, but rate Rodri's best year versus Fabinho's best year. Could you say that Rodri's had a better year at DM than Fabinho.
Yeah, last year, for example, bro.
Yeah.
Last year for him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last year was Rodri. Wow, what a guy.
Yeah.
He does out of the whole of the Premier League. He does the most forward passes. Rodri.
Yeah.
By a lot, by 400-500 from the next guy. So he's the guy who actually gets it moving.
But
So,
hopefully, did I put that in there? I'm hoping I put
But
that. I have a stat for that too, by the way. I do have a stat for that. So let me.
But I think
I do have a stat for that. You know me. I do have a stat for that.
I can understand. I think why. I can understand. I think why the guys picked him, because if you put a team together on like that in a computer game, and you put Rodri in, you put Fabinho in, it really wouldn't matter at all. I mean, you're literally splitting hairs. You are like you're just splitting hairs. It's like, you want this excellent, unbelievable player, or do you want this excellent, unbelievable player? It really is kind of like that. But I think if you're using the metrics, so if you're saying, like, if you want to be able to say, okay, well, let's just put it on individual best individual seasons. Yeah, he was kind of one of these guys that if it was a proper thing, he would have been nominated for the Ballon d'Or last year. He won the treble. That he can outdo anything Fabinho has won, Rodri's won, and he's been at the heart of it. So there is no real kind of top trumps. Like, if any Man City fan can come here and say, "Oh, I get that you say that the year you won this, but how can you say that was better than Rodri's individual season when you won the treble?" And you're like, "Well, you probably can, but you can't say that Rodri was better this year than peak Fabinho." So it's literally a coin toss. Like, and I think the guys put Rodri in just because it's an easier, less controversial DM pick, and they wanted to be able to put as many Liverpool players in as possible. So they thought we might put a few kind of Man City players in centre half and DM maybe to not make it just a red 11. So, and I'm sure they had their good reasons. But honestly, like, if we started the season with peak Rodri in DM, or peak Fabinho in DM, I'm cool with, do you know what I'm saying? I really don't think it's not like, oh, do you want Messi or Sean Goat? Probably going back a bit. Do you want Messi or Anthony? It's not it's pretty much split down the middle between them two. So yeah, I say, look, let him have it, because I think
I was cool with it. That's I agree with that.
It makes it a bit more blue, because otherwise it's just 11 red players, like, or 9 red players anyway. You have to look like you've got a little bit of kind of what's the word? Non-bias going on there,
Yeah, I mean, Romy Kenobi is a Real Madrid fan, and he's even saying, Rodri bossed the midfield against them last season in Champions League. Yeah, and then Dustin says, just on City terms, you think he's a better player than Fernandinho?
Fernandinho was awesome, but Fernandinho was a converted attacking midfielder. Fernandinho even played right back a few times, and Pep turned him into a new kind of Busquets. So that was almost, in a way, even more impressive, because Fernandinho at Shakhtar, Fernandinho was there with Willian, and he was there with a couple other guys at the time. But Fernandinho, and there was Fernando, who they also bought from Shakhtar, who was a defensive midfielder, and they ended up not liking him. And he actually, just typical Guardiola, he's like, "Oh, you're a number 8 or number 10. Brilliant. I'm going to turn you into a deep line playmate." And DM. And he became one of the best in the world at it. So to me, that was almost even more impressive, because that shows, actually, like we were saying about the checkbook thing earlier on. Dustin just rates everybody higher than he rates. I like, Dustin had some interesting shots earlier on, but I didn't go along with your Laporte was better than company. Peak Laporte better than company.
Okay, I got you. I didn't see him say that. That's why he was saying about. Okay, I got you, Dustin.
Well, he was saying peak Diaz. Dustin think peak Diaz, which I think is a conversation. is better than Company, and peak Laporte is better than Company, which I don't think is a conflict. So,
Diaz
but
could be a
anyway,
shout. That's interesting. This is why I think these kind of combined 11s exist. I know not everyone's a fan of them. I know Pops is not a fan of combined 11s, to be honest with you.
it's just a bit of fun,
He
really.
made it. He's not a fan of it at all. But like he participated in this out of sheer love, you know. So like I appreciate him giving me his insight, because we all value Pops's takes and Chris's as well. So all right, well then the next is an easy choice. I think the next is a very easy choice. I put KDB. KDB's got to be somewhere in this lineup. I mean, obviously KDB is being mentioned in the pantheon of midfielders now, at least for when it comes to the Premier League era. And there's a solid shout that you know, he could arguably be, you know, is more accomplished than a lot of those other names that are put into that conversation. But just on individual years, I mean, like as in KDB's got some ridiculous numbers, and he's just an absolute incredible player. Someone that I wish that he had gone to his boyhood. I wish he'd chosen his boyhood club to go to, you know, as opposed to moving on from Chelsea to eventually moving on from Chelsea to City.
Yeah, this midfield is starting to look like Garcia's midfield, isn't it?
Yeah, but hold my beer. I'm all done. I'm all done my Guinness pretty much. So this is who I have in the left midfield position. Let's see. Real quick, who are your shouts? Real quick, who are you guys gonna probably say is your shout for left mid? I'll give that as a spoiler, not spoiler, as a cliffhanger. Who would you put as your left mid? Or you got one position left in the midfield. Who's the chat putting in that one position? I see a shout for Ginny. Yeah. Ginny's a strong shout.
1920, yep.
I mean, this could be possibly Obi-Wan Kenobi, but we'd have to wait a year. Let's see, and let's see after we get this quad. McAllister could probably make a shout for that, you know, but he's just not there yet for a combined starting 11 for me.
I don't think you're going to like my shout.
Okay, go ahead. I know who you're going to say. We're going to see the rat. You're going to say you're going to bring a rat into the party.
I'm going to put Bernardo Silva in there. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't say that.
Yeah. I kind of had that feeling. Ika Mouse. We were talking about reggae yesterday on Ika Mouse. How about that? So the selections, the choices that were offered, the candidates that were offered. This is pre-made. Yeah, this is pre-made. I'm not doing it on the fly, by the way, Dustin. Yeah, this is already pre-made. For this lineup, the candidates that were offered were Bernardo Silva, as you just mentioned.
Oh, no. No, sorry. Can I rewind that? Yeah, sorry. Dustin wants names on it for who voted on it. But thingy was there. David Silva was there under Pep, right?
Yeah, he was.
Oh yeah, no, he walked into. No, he's straight into this. Sorry, yeah, I forgot about that. Like, David Silva walks into this team. David Silva, I mean, no, absolutely walks into this team. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, at least we can move the rat. We can put him in a rat trap and get him out of here.
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 But yeah, Dustin had Ginny. I mean, like, okay, so you reconsidered and said another Silva, at least, you know.
His cousin.
David Silva was a shout for me, as in I gave that shout too as being a strong consideration. I thought David Silva was just next level. I mean, he was incredible, an absolute incredible player.
Chris Angel probably never watched that. I'm sorry. Pops, like, I know Chris is too No, Chris Angel's too young to have watched David Silva enough at all. And he won't have
Okay.
watched Man City. He wouldn't have watched Liverpool as well. I guarantee you he's only seen bits and pieces of him. So if
Well, I'm trying
David
to
Silva was
think
playing today, he would
I
like
think
David Silva is as good as it gets.
I want to say that Chris gave Gundogan. I think he gave Gundogan as his
He
either.
loves
I think he
Mhm.
said
He
Jenny or
loves
Gundogan.
Gundogan. Nah, that
Yeah.
guy's got a thing for Gundogan. We need to do an investigation into that, man. He's got a thing
Yeah,
for Gundogan.
Gundogan. You got to get him in
Yeah, he's
there.
got a thing for Gundogan.
Yeah. I think
He'd have to win over
Chris will probably
Rodgers, though,
correct me.
JK.
Chris will probably correct me. Chris will probably watch this at some point and correct me. You can do that in the comments. But yeah, I think it was Gundogan that he said. The nominations that we had were David Silva. I nominated David Silva as a choice. Bernardo was on there. Gundogan was on there, and Ginny was on there. But I'm going to say this. Oops, dropped my pen there. But I chose. I wish I had a drum roll. Here. Yes, Dustin, my guy, Dustin. That's exactly who I had as arguably, or my argument for this was, and he was arguably one of the best in his role at the time when he played for us. But Coutinho was next level. All the players that we mentioned, all phenomenal, but not one of them was getting 150 million dollar move to Barcelona, not to like some mid-table team or some like some whatever team. Barcelona.
Let's not use that one. No, let's not use that one. Come on, dude. Come on. If Silva had been on the market,
if
back then,
he was on the market though.
Yeah,
He did have
stole him. Yeah, but that doesn't. Yeah, I mean,
he didn't sell.
I get
No,
yeah.
David Silva
But he
left
would
on
have
a free. David Silva left on a free. He didn't get sold. He left on a free. And David Silva went to went to City under 30 some odd million. It's like 32 million or something like that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like a peak David Silva at the time Coutinho went would have cost as much as Coutinho did. I wouldn't measure their ability. I wouldn't measure that as the winning.
No, I'm measuring it as like there's a reason why he was at that level of a price tag, but also a reason why Barcelona was willing to pay that kind of price tag for this player, and also the reason why Coutinho, that the year that the Coutinho with Liverpool that year was phenomenal. I'm not saying that Silva wasn't phenomenal either.
I know what you're saying. Peak season. I get what you're saying. You're using as in terms of the peak season. I get what you're saying there. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I'm just saying peak Coutinho. Coutinho is better than peak.
No, I know I get what you're saying. Peak Coutinho convinced Barcelona to spend 140 million on. I'd still say David Silva at his best was as good as Coutinho, but he wasn't as spectacular. That peak Coutinho season, very few people did that because basically every second week he was bending one into the top corner from 30 yards outside the box. It was stupid. His highlight reel for that season is like most players don't do that. He was, but I would have said Silva actually for what he did in game, but yeah, he didn't have that spectacular kind of. That is one of the great seasons. That Coutinho season that he had for us is up there. It gets forgotten about or not talked about or not appreciated because everyone says
of the way of his exit. Exactly, because of the way he pushed for his exit. That's the reason why a lot of people don't rate or are quick to forget. Because I brought up my candidate for that was Coutinho simply under the pretense of that he was just like next level. Like there's like
it's Sterling. everyone forgets how, or everyone denies how good Sterling was just because he left us and went to Man City. Everyone just
Yeah,
says, "Oh no, he was." No one will give
yeah,
him any props for how good he was
yeah.
or what he's done since scoring, just because he fucked off and
That's
left
the way
us.
he left. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the same with Coutinho. All they now talk about is, ha ha ha, he failed, ha ha ha, laughing point, and it's so child. He was amazing for us, and no one wanted him to go, and that's why they were so upset. You know, it's just that season. I was only half joking, but like every 2 or 3 weeks, he was calling one into the top corner from 25, 30 yards.
Yeah, man, he was phenomenal. I get that he failed at Barcelona. I get that those. I mean, I get that. I mean, I'm just talking about. We're talking about individual years. We're talking about individuals. You know, I understand too. There was a comment in there, but Silva played right center mid anyway. Or Silva played right. Played on the right anyway. Yeah, and I can get that. I mean,
he started his career on the
Coutinho
left
played on
winger.
the left. Coutinho played on the left. He played left wing. He played left mid. You know, kind of like a hybrid. Even sometimes would move into like a makeshift 10, if anything, for us every once in a while. But
Silva did that. Like Silva played as a left winger for Valencia, played as a number 10 for Valencia. Again, we're splitting hairs on this. Like David Silva is one of the best players ever to play football in Premier League. Don't forget it.
right.
So is Coutinho. It's
Dustin. The only thing about. Oh, I'm sorry, Brian. Go ahead, finish your point. I'm sorry.
No. I was reading his thing as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say the only thing about Thiago's world class, absolutely. It's just that there's Brian's that's one of Brian's favorite players of all time, or at least one of his favorite players, I should say. And like he's one of my favorite players as well, like but he just hasn't had a season where you could say, yeah, that season he should be mentioned in the breadth of the other players that I mentioned earlier, whether it's Ginny, whether it's Bernardo, whether it's Gundogan, whether it's David, none of them, but all the same. This was my selection. That was my choice. I made that choice. I was not going to allow for the rat to be a part of this this list. That's the only thing I was caring about, was that rat was not going to be part of this list.
Maybe we should talk about Henderson for a minute. Savage will pop in.
Yeah,
they got the CIA They got CIA settings for Henderson.
No. I mean, I'm sure if we did, we probably would see. We probably be the Nature Boy would probably be joining us anytime soon. I'm surprised Nature Boy isn't joining us because Henderson's not a part of this list. But all the same,
no pushback. No pushback really in general about the fact that City have had the majority of the best midfielders. We
oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That's their powerhouse.
You have to make an argument. You have to make a strong argument to try to get. You have to make a strong argument to try to like justify Jenny getting into that list. Jenny was like incredibly important to us. Was a very important player for us. But like, it's still like one of those things of like, statistically wise or just like levels wise, like is that argument going to land when you have to go up against a David Silva or a Gundogan or like all these different names that we brought up? It's a very, very tough sell. I think that the strongest sell for us to try to get someone in this midfield, I believe, is Coutinho. On an individual year, I think it's the strongest. The strongest candidate.
Yeah, for us, definitely, because their midfielders have been ridiculous.
And the midfield's just been phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I think the next couple of choices that I had here, pretty simple, pretty standard selections, obviously. I had Mane on the left because I don't think I can't think of any left winger. Maybe Sané, but I don't think Sané is better than Mane. despite the fact maybe they had that discussion. Maybe they had that discussion at Bayern Munich, and that's what.
It sounded like a rap song.
Yeah, they were talking on the pitch, and Mane's like, I was the best left winger, and he's like, Sané's like, nah, man, button that. And that's why they got into their fight. I don't know. That's allegedly. No, just messing around. Certified for sure. Big up to Norman, by the way, in the chat. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the shout. Thank you. But Mane certified, right? As Dustin said, as the kids say on the streets, he's street certified, right? I'd say. I can't think of anyone.
What's his city competition? What was his city? It was you were mentioning earlier on you had a list of candidates, as it were. Who were Mane's rivals?
Who were the candidates in there? Sané was the only candidate that we had.
Oh yeah, well that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. There was only 1, 2, 3, 4. There was 5 positions that got like some type of competition, or some candidate stepped up where you had to make a decision. There wasn't an outright favorite like KDB is getting in the list. There's no like, oh, let's put KDB versus Henderson because of that was not going down, but there is 5 candidates. There was the right back spot, the left mid spot that I just spoke of.
Hey, Norman.
Left wing wasn't, and Sané was like us searching for a candidate. To tell you the truth, that was not even really.
Yeah, I could smell that straight away. You were just looking for someone to kind of put him up against. Yeah.
Yeah, because this list was starting to be a lot like, as it was heavily. We were trying to say, okay, yeah, this list is starting to be heavily red, So we were trying to figure out, okay, well, how can we balance? Try not to seem too biased. We don't want to have it seem like we're biased or something like that. Because it was very interesting. Obviously the right wing position, it picks itself. I think, Salah. Who on the right wing for City can you consider? And also Norman says hello, guys. By the way.
Hey, Norman.
I said hey to Norman.
Cool, man.
Well, look, you could talk about some other person, but it is kind of pointless, really. I mean, it is getting red. I know, you don't want it to be just Liverpool, but
right.
I think
Bonker said
even City fans would say.
Bonker said Sterling. Okay.
Nah, Mane is just the number one.
But I don't think Sterling's a better. I don't think Sterling gets in above Mane.
No way.
I mean, we're talking about Golden Boot Mane versus Sterling's best year at City. It's not even a contest.
I reckon it's not bad though. I reckon Sterling's best season in the City is around 20. For some reason, a striker, he did score a lot of goals there. But
he did, but I wouldn't have put Mane. I wouldn't have put Sterling over Mane. I wouldn't.
I reckon some City fans would. I tell you that now for a fact. I reckon there'd be some City fans.
That would be crazy. I would love to hear that. I would love to hear that argument.
Well, I don't think it'd be crazy. I mean, it's not like putting Jack Grealish in. I mean, it's not like putting. I mean, it's not like I mean, if from a City fan's point of view, I can see why they say, well, he's probably scored more goals than Mane, or just as much. He's got this much trophies, yada yada yada. But I could see. I guarantee you, the City fans would probably go fairly heavy for Sterling over Mane. But no, obviously for me, it's Mane too.
Okay. I'm gonna make sure I get this. So I saw that comment. Here is the final selection. I know people were already trying to figure out. I wouldn't have put Foden in the conversation. Foden's got a long career ahead of him, but there's no way. And also, Dustin, that was so for to try to figure out someone that could possibly compete in every. We always try to pick someone that would compete in for the competition, and we would say, oh, like, is this a strong candidate or is it not? We put him to the side and say, hands down. Mahrez did get a shout. Mahrez did get a shout for as being a candidate. I just think it's a pretty weak candidate call, only because I know people are, and I had that conversation. People are like, "Oh, well, what about his years at Leicester? He's got a trophy with Leicester, and then he's also got a trophy with. He's got multiple trophies with City and everything else, and blah 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 blah." There's no way that I'm saying Salah, or I'm not. No way I'm saying Mahrez is better than Salah. It's just not happening.
Yeah, you can't say.
You
can't say basically anybody is better than Salah in this thing. But Mahrez
is amazing,
amazing
player.
Mahrez probably, until he left, there was him and there was someone else whose name I've forgotten right now at the moment, but undisputed best first touch in the Premier League. You could boot that guy a ball from 70 yards, dropping out of the sky, over his shoulder. Anyway, best first touch in the Premier League. Leicester fans, they'll tell you, just a ridiculous, like the kind of Leicester fans that sat in the stadium and watched him go on the wing from 30 yards away. They're like, we've never seen anything like this guy. Absolutely ridiculous. But nobody's going in over. I mean, nobody's getting in. Nobody's getting in. The door's locked. The door's shut. There's only one in, but it's Mo Salah's spot. No one's taking it.
Yeah. Arguably, the best right winger of the Premier era.
100%.
I just, you can't say. I would never say that about Mahrez. I think that is the reason why I think that conversation. Despite I get that.
No, Mahrez wasn't a goal scorer. Mahrez not a goal scorer. No. That's the only thing. Salah's a goal.
But I mean, like Salah's a goal scorer, and Salah has multiple years of having 10+ goals and 10+ assists. That's a talent.
Oh no, I'm not saying sorry. No. I'm not saying he's not an assister. No. What I'm saying is Mahrez isn't a goal scorer. Mahrez isn't a goal scorer. That's like Mahrez is a much more just pep type, inside, beat people, first touch, passes. But if you put him in your team, man, you put Mahrez in your team and say hold the ball for 10 minutes, you're going to keep the ball.
You could do it. Yeah, the final selection, I already have it up. I already revealed the final selection. Look, I made arguments. I made some valid arguments, I believe, in my opinion, for other people in this role. The other candidates for this role were Aguero, obviously.
Only one other candidate.
If Sturridge was healthy and he had if Sturridge was healthy, that would have been phenomenal, But
there's only one for me.
Diego would have been phenomenal choice too, but it's not that. But he's not that guy for right now for this list. There's no way I could put it. I can't even make that argument. They actually argued, being Pops and Chris actually argued that Bobby be the choice for this list. I looked at that and it would have been so much red on here. I was like, I don't know if that's gonna fly as us not having some type of bias by not putting the guy that just broke the goal scoring record and is like is referred to as cyborg. And they were referencing and said that, oh well, without Bobby, Mane and Salah don't reach the pinnacles that they reached in their careers. Possibly Bobby is that linchpin. Bobby's so important. Bobby had a phenomenal year where he scored, I think, 16 goals, I want to say, or something like that, one year, where he was a goal scorer and was putting in assists for the guys. they had Bobby. I had to be honest and just go. Bobby's one of my. Bobby is in this generation of players, at least. Bobby was my favorite player. You know, so Bobby, if you hear this, understand that it broke my heart to have to put Holland in front of you, but I had to go Holland. I don't know.
Well,
How do you feel about that?
For me, there's only one other option up there. None of our boys none of our boys that are on that list are better than Aguero.
Mm-hmm.
The his first season at City, his second, his whole career at City. I mean, just non-stop. He did have injuries, but I don't think that City team was anywhere near as good as this City team.
Mm-hmm.
And Aguero kind of broke them, like literally won them their first Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
I understand Haaland is pretty much a phenomenon. Might not. He's very. You got that even Drago kind of vibe going on. But I'd find it incredibly difficult to leave Aguero out of any side like that, just because of how good he was when he came in. He broke pretty much. He just went around breaking just records all over the place. You know, Haaland can't be left out.
It's hard. That's my point. Like, it's very difficult. I get and big up to Norman. John Barnes from 1987 to 1991 was Salah and Mane rolled into one. Yeah, John Barnes was just absolute.
To be honest, well, man, I tell you, to be honest, if I was doing this, I would just kind of get a bit loose with the rules, and I just put Aguero in where Mane is. You know what I mean? And I just I'd say, Aguero wasn't just a number 9. He could play off the side. He was a number 10. Played number 10 for Atletico Madrid.
Very interesting. Okay.
But
you would rate Aguero over Mane basically to get Aguero.
I can't see Aguero out with his team. Aguero is one of the greatest strikers ever to play in the Premier League.
I agree.
He's absolutely phenomenal. Look at his numbers. Look at his everything. Bonkers. It's Klopp only.
His Klopp, yeah. If it was just Liverpool history, yeah, Suarez would definitely be a shout. But like, it's just Klopp Pep years, the Klopp Pep era, basically.
Like, even as like, I don't like really watching Haaland. I don't like watching City, but I loved watching Aguero. That guy, he's a proper footballer. The right height for a footballer, the right haircut, right body shape. He just looks like what you think of. He plays football. The big, massive ties on him. A proper Argentinian footballer. What you grew up thinking of, little Maradona types. All kinds of goals. So it's so harsh to leave him out.
I know it is. I know. This is probably one of the most difficult ones to do because Bobby for me is that guy. I love Bobby. I think that he was and is possibly one of the greatest false nines of history, possibly of my recollection of history, of that I've seen.
You won't see another one like Bobby. You won't see another one like Bobby.
Yeah,
he kind of half invented his own position.
Yeah.
I would change too.
Yeah.
I would change Haaland and Coutinho for Bobby and Gundogan. Then for me, that's a good team.
Oh, so you'd put Gundogan in and you put Bobby in at the 9.
Yeah, because Bobby made that system work, and that 3 up top, best in the world. Aguero playing there, it would also work. But I think Bobby was so crucial for them 3 at the top. And Gundogan last season won the Champions League. He was City's best player. So for me, Gundogan goes in there for Coutinho. But then the rest of the team.
For Rodri, would you not just put Gundogan?
Coutinho?
Would you not just put him in for Rodri and then allow yourself to have another attacking midfielder? I mean, this team doesn't have to play anybody. We don't need the system to work. Just give yourself like Gundogan and Rodri. It's a bit kind of, for a best ever 11, it's a bit, lacking in the old stardust there, JK. You know what I'm saying?
And like you're saying, it looks more exciting when you see Rodri there than you got Coutinho one side, KDB on the other. It just looks wow.
That's gonna be.
If you put
Tell me
Gundogan
about it.
in,
And you got Rodri holding down the
Gundogan
middle.
in for
Even if you have
Rodri.
Fab holding down the middle. Go ahead, Brian.
No, if you put Gundogan in for Rodri, you could still allow you to have two attacking midfielders. Yeah, I would have said I probably like maybe kind of. I know people don't do it anymore, and it's not a thing, but it's probably a bit more fun for these. Is if you set them up in a 4-2-3-1, because that 4-3-3 kind of forces you, that when you're like, because it's an imaginary 11, so who cares?
Yeah, it's imaginary 11, so you got to pick one. You got to pick some type of you can make. I'm sure we could have taken a different formation to be able to get more players, involved and everything as well. That way, we could have maybe had Fab and Rodri in there or something like that. But
you could get a Fabinho in a 4-2-3-1
and
put a defender in their defensive midfield. Sorry, and you can put like a McAllister type beside him, and then you get four more attackers.
Yeah. No, Norman says, would you not say though that Aguero, brilliant as he was out with injuries a lot? However, I understand it's based on his pure talent, but it's Holland for him. And I just think that it's difficult. It's difficult if we're going just individual. It's just we're going individual season. We're going with we're trying to rate that as saying this player at their pinnacle. I don't even think Holland's necessarily at his pinnacle, of his career, but the guy was just a machine. As much as Aguero was incredible last year, it was like a cheat code with that guy. Like you could say, I'm sure there could be an argument that Aguero is very close to having the same up, down, left, right, A, B cheat code or something like that. Shout out to all the Contra fans out there.
Let's just cut in here though. I know. Let's just cut in though, because I didn't like. Not that I didn't like that comment. I wasn't too hot on that one. He made 390 appearances for Manchester City and scored 260 goals. So he did have injuries, but he wasn't out a lot. 360 appearances, 390 appearances in 10 years. So that's an average of 39 games a season. That's not bad. 260 goals. That's absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah, kept up with his goal tally. Yeah,
he was he had injury problems towards the end, where he had a problem that way, and he didn't play towards the end a lot because Guardiola, for some reason, didn't like him because he was being Tinkerman Guardiola. Like, I'm too clever. I can drop Aguero to the bench. I don't need him. I can play freaking Claudio Bravo up front or something. So and then he gets his final kind of move. He goes to Barcelona, and then he has to retire because they find out he's got a heart problem. So he's playing that whole time. 685 career appearances, 685 appearances, 385 goals. That's better than 1 and 2. That's better than 1 and 2.
Yeah, he's good, man.
Career.
I got you.
That is crazy. That is crazy.
And he's pulling Liverpool.
Let's do that now. Yeah, but let's wait and see what Haaland does.
Yeah, let's see what. Let's wait and see.
Keeps going at the rate he's going, but I think he's a big man. Well, he's about 2.5 feet taller than Aguero. I think he's going to have a different. Let's not say anything, but when we're talking about people that had injury problems, Haaland has had injury problems, and you don't play that much football and be that big without having injury problems. So, but if he keeps going at the rate he's going, you're talking about Pele numbers. You're talking about 800 career goals, 900 career goals. If Haaland keeps playing till he's say 33 at this rate, you must be looking at something like that.
Well, this was the list I came up with, the guys. As in, this was a list that I compiled with. Again, this is a list that I compiled with the help of Bayesian Pops and the help of Chris Angel. I I did make one executive decision. I only utilized one lifeline, basically. And my lifeline was to, I understand it might be controversial, considering that the player is not necessarily beloved by a lot of people in that call Liverpool their team in Coutinho, but that was who I thought honestly was a player that is overlooked, undervalued, and should be on this list. But all the same, this is the list I came up with. Hey, in the comments, please, if you think I'm crazy, or I was crazy to do this or crazy to do that, please tell me in the comments. Leave a comment on the video and just tell me where you thought I got it right, where you thought I got it wrong, or if you thought like, hey, you know what, I just got it spot on, maybe in your opinion. But yeah, fun. I thought that was fun. I thought that'd be fun little thing. Because you're right. There are a lot of players.
But just for a quick comparison, Haaland played 16 times for Salzburg, got 17, played 67 times for Dortmund, got 62, 57 for Manchester City, 54. So yeah, if he keeps going at that kind of rate,
exactly.
He's going to be like, hello,
yeah.
Pele's family are going to be going and looking up some old records to add a few more numbers to his record. Back into just to bump it up, because that's basically a goal a game. That's a goal game.
That's sick.
That's
sick. You can say, I mean, Aguero's goals are phenomenal. They've been very important goals, albeit, but like it's at some points or at some places you could possibly like add up multiple years of some of these players, and it doesn't equal out to be what he scored in just one. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, look, 2022 or 2020, like Dortmund, 62 and 67. Mm-hmm. That's kind of stupid. That kind of stuff is stupid. And then to come to England and match it, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, he's not that good." He was injured a lot in Germany. I'm sitting there going, "Oh no, I don't think so, guys. This sounds like copium, as they say."
Mm-hmm.
Bro, his knees are really bad. I guarantee he won't be able to do it in England. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
guy kind of tends to bang goals in.
Wishful thinking on some parts.
Yeah, it was a bit of wishful thinking, but he hasn't stopped scoring since.
I'm gonna do this last point. This is the last little thing. I had a couple other things, but I can save them for the the post match game review type show, because there was the talk. This was a hot topic, I know, and it wouldn't be right if I didn't necessarily bring it up. This is Trent Alexander-Arnold comparing Liverpool and Manchester City's recent success. This is via 442. He says, looking back. Say what, Brian?
Sorry, I'm not sure. No, that picture, that's a really deadly picture of Pep and Trent. That's a really good photo.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah. I think Pep is having a laugh. He's trying to he's trying to get up. That was at the Etihad too. That was at the Etihad. But looking back on this era, although City won more titles than us and have probably been more successful, our trophies will mean more to us and our fan base because of the situation at both clubs financially. How both clubs have built their teams and the manner in which we've done it probably means more to our fans. This quote has gotten so much momentum, has brought so much attention to the game, to the comments. There was a bunch of different comments by let's see, Ruben Diaz made a comment back, clap back at him. Haaland made a clap back at him. There's been a lot of different takes on this. My individual take was I had no problem necessarily hearing a proud Scouser say something about the club that is his childhood, favorite club or favorite team, or, a boyhood club, basically. So I know that some people are going to question the timing, obviously someone puts a microphone in front of your face and asks you to be real, give your real opinions, not some manufactured opinion. He does that, and he gets lambasted for doing that. It's almost like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't sometimes. You want these guys to be real. You want these guys to be like honest with their opinions and their takes, and not just give always that, PC, PR, I guess you could call it, take. And Trent gave it because, honestly, I think that it kind of resonates with someone like myself in what he's saying as being truthful, and I appreciate that he came out and gave a truthful take. We can all again debate whether this is the time to do it.Maybe you could have said to 442, hey, can you wait till after the game, or something like that. But one of the main reasons why you're trying to get that quote as a journalist is because of the game coming up, so you're obviously going to try to get these kind of like salacious or these kind of quotes out there. So, you want to say something? I know Brian's like eager to comment on this. I know you comment.
Gotta sell the papers. They're I don't blame these guys. This is the machine. This is all part of the machine, and this is where you may not see it with your eyes, but this is where the money comes from. Just like media marketing 101. That's a 442 article right there, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's 442, right? So you can see a picture of Trent, and you can see a sponsor logo, right?
Right.
You can see a sponsor logo. You can see Manchester City's kit gear. You can see their sponsor logo.
Mm-hmm.
This is what earns money. Eyes on the club. These kind of things. You write a story about Peterborough United, it doesn't get in the paper. So you don't get sponsors paying 10 million a year to sponsor a sleeve on your shirt. You write a story about Trent. I don't know, is that Expedia or something like that? The guys that are paying for that, sitting there watching that, going, lovely stuff. There we go. That's our logo right in the middle of that. They don't care about football. So the fact that it's eyes on us all the time, it's part of the media marketing machine. So that's part one of my response. But part two is get back to it. Is I'm all for this. I want more of this. I want more kind of needle before games. Not that it gets out of hand. My only problem with it is the slogan. I hate the slogan. I don't hate the Trent said it. I just hate that stupid this means more slogan, because it's a marketing trick thing. It's not something that came on the top of it. That's what I just don't like. It's like,
Bob doubled down on that though, by the way. He said it too.
He did, and I didn't like it. I know, but it's not that he doubled down on the sentiment. I mean, for me, it's just like I'm loving. Basically, it just means as much as I'm loving it, right? Hashtag I'm loving it. Hashtag this means more. Okay, thanks guys. You're getting us out anyway. But to me, I don't need to be told.
You work for McDonald's, Brian?
Yeah, are we going to get shut down for that? Actually, or maybe.
No, you might. You just might.
I agreed with the sentiment to a degree, and that's what I'm saying. I like this stuff before big games, where players come out and just try and wind each other up. But like we've all been saying,
you just asked for this. You just asked for this earlier, for you saying how like you would have liked the niceties between Klopp and Pep to not exist as much as they do. You would have liked some
but
fire.
more not like it used to go back in the day with like Mourinho being a complete arsehole to people. But just a little bit more of kind of like a bit more of the WWE. Like people want to. It's an entertainment sport as well. It's not just a sport. It's not entertainment. It's an entertainment sport. So people want to see some. It doesn't have to get ugly like it used to do. But just with what Dustin was saying there, he was saying hopefully this can be revolutionary, and players will come out and say, let's not go that far. I think it'll be the opposite. It'll be Trent will be sat down with the media officer, and the media officer will say, "Don't do that again." It's more like
what though. As much as the media officer wants to say that, then you can say all you want. But guess what, media officer? I'm gonna say what I want.
But that's what they'll want.
That's gonna be the pushback. Like,
It's only when
Klopp said it himself. Klopp said it himself in that presser. He's like, they sat me down and told me what to say. He literally said that. He's like, because he was asked the question, he was trying to figure. He's like, do I go with what I was told to say by the, by the administration, or do I keep it 100 and just keep it real?
You know what's funny? They picked the guy who's injured and who can't do nothing about it on the pitch to come out with them words. It's classic. It's a good move in a weird way. To just
it is a good move.
They're probably trying to, can you imagine Bernardo Silva reading that? And he's like, can't wait till Sunday. Can't wait till Sunday.
Oh, he would have put a tackle on him. Yeah, he would have been. He would have said something. He would have put a tackle and said, "Yeah, how much does it mean to you now?" Like,
he's that type of
guy.
Trent
definitely needs to show up with a "This Means More" T-shirt on, something like that.
Yeah, that'd be even better. Yeah. Oh, look here. So let me show you another statistic, or at least not a statistic, or I guess you could call it a statistic. When he said the financial portion of it, this is in euros as well. And this is what I mean. And I get there's going to be those out there that say net spend doesn't exist, or net spend or this and blah, 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 blah. Let's just go with simplistic, simple terms in how net spend works. Net spend, obviously, you've got to factor in salaries. You got to factor in all the different, the revenue that you make off of shirt sales, all the other crap. Let's just go with net sales just being, cut and dry, in and out, transfers in, transfers out, that being the net spend. Okay. And since October 2015, when Jurgen Klopp was appointed, Manchester City has spent close to 1 billion euros to 495 to the half billion euros that Liverpool have spent. So they've spent nearly twice the amount of money on transfers. Now, the sheer brilliance of this administration, or at least this club, has been the fact that we've even competed remotely. That shows the brilliance of our coach. That shows the brilliance of the sporting director, the brilliance of, the don't shoot the messenger, but the FSG allowing for the sporting director and the manager to have more of a say and more of their hands on the wheel than your Bowleys or your Romans or something like that. Okay. And just buying whoever they want to buy, and even goes to show you that the quality of players that we're bringing in, the sheer fact that we were able to get the results that we were able to get, money that apparently isn't the end all be all when it comes to trying to get results. I mean, obviously City, you can be a strong argument to say, well, City's won a lot of trophies. We'll see if those trophies remain at the end of the 115, when the 115 is actually adjudicated. But this figure is kind of what he was trying to get at. It's not like they got some, what is it, Daddy Warbucks, and with Annie, for all those Annie fans out there, I think that's his name, right? Daddy Warbucks. This shows that's a pretty considerable difference in expenditures. JK, how do you feel about that? I mean, do you think that he had, seeing the numbers the way they are, do you not see kind of where he's coming from?
Yeah, 100%. So even the players know that we're not a big spending club, and also the figures you've got up there, it's nearly double, So the job Klopp's done is even more remarkable. Just looking at that stat there, net spend wise, since 2015, that's the difference, and it shows you that it's like Chelsea, for example. I asked the question the other day: if Klopp was at Chelsea, would they be in a higher position? I think they would be, and it shows you the sporting director. Yeah, he's important, but he's not more important than the coach. I think fans are sort of going that way. They're more bothered about getting a sporting director in than actually getting a guy in who can train them guys he's going to bring in, maybe on the cheap. Mm-hmm. So that's what, looking at all these figures, it would not have worked if Jurgen Klopp was not there. Mm-hmm. We would probably, I don't know who would have been manager or whatever, but that net spend there only worked because of Klopp's genius, Klopp's energy, his personality to get the best out of these sort of bargain 35, 40 million pound players, some of them, Mane, Salah.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't
Mm-hmm.
like 80, 90 million pound players, say the way Chelsea does it. And that's why, for me, I can't have anyone say anything bad against Klopp. You've seen after the Champions League, when we won it, the guy was given not even a tenner to go and buy some players. And that was, for me, the major sign of the FSG reign of where them guys are at.
Mm-hmm.
This last summer, the only reason they did buy Szoboszlai, McAllister, because the numbers weren't there. Chiarte left, Fabinho left, Hendo left. So they had to get someone in, you know.
Right.
But saying that as well, the best buy from that midfield is probably the cheapest, 15 million Endo.
Hey, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's true. It's about money. It's like a lottery winner. You can win the lottery and lose it in a year if you don't know how to spend wisely. And
Yeah.
football's the same. Football's the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Brian, you have a comment you want to put in, or?
Yeah. Well, look, it's theirs is in the face every day. You know, they have the likes of Phillips, Grealish, a couple other lads, Kovacic, 30, 40 million pound. Grealish sits on the bench for a year. Mateus Nunes, everyone wanted him. They get him for 50 million.
Mm-hmm.
Plays the odd game here and there. You know, we see it. We see the money they have on it. We see what the players cost. So it's no shock to me. Yeah, the transfer net spend is an argument as old as time. Some people say you can't use net spend and just use total spend. For me, yeah, it's not about. For me, it's, if you want to talk about net spend, just talk about forget everything else other than player trading. So players sold, players bought, and that's what that is there. You know, bringing into account what we've done, what they've done. They've spent double what we've spent, literally double.
Mm-hmm.
They've probably won 2.5 times, 3 times as much as us.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll get some people that will say, well, if we'd spent another 400 million in that time and back to Jurgen Klopp more, back to whoever, then maybe we would have 2 or 3 more titles. Because that's just showing you what it takes now. Like, it does show you how what we're doing. Yeah, like what we're doing is phenomenal. But we've spent in net £500 million.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It's a lot of money there.
Yeah, we're not a small spending club. We're not a pauper club. We've spent an awful lot of money. But that just shows you that if you want to really, these days, now, if you want to win titles, then that's only around half enough over that period.
Yeah.
That's what this is telling me. I know how good we are. I know how brilliant our setup is. I've been FSG, not FSG in or FSG out, ever. I've never been any of that. I've just been, can we just appreciate what they're doing? If someone came in that's better than them, brilliant. But let's not slag them off. Let's not say they're shit. Everything they're doing is brilliant, and they're getting the best out of everything they have.
They're getting the best out of everything.
Does
it help to have a great
10 times the best out of it, even more than they could be expected? And yeah, having Klopp, one of the best hires in history.
Absolutely helps. Yes.
But they went out there and they got him. Like, he didn't come knocking to us. They went out there. He was on sabbatical. They didn't just drop him a text. They actually convinced the guy that there was people involved in that. And those people are FSG, but no one wants to talk about that. You know, he had to be convinced to come. Well, who did it? It wasn't, you know, like I say, someone sent them an email to his agent, "Do you want a Liverpool job?" No, they went there and they got it done because they know how to get people signed up. And yeah, it just grist to the mill. It just gives those people who say, well, if you'd spent a few $100 million more, maybe we would have more trophies. But that to me just shows you, even spending £500 million, having one of the best managers on the planet. And it's not just City we're competing. When you're talking about in Europe, it wasn't them that was knocking us out. You've got Real Madrid, you've got Bayern Munich, you've got Barcelona.
Yeah.
It's a very, very expensive world to live in. So to keep that level of expenditure up, Newcastle are going to come now. Hopefully, FFP has a bit more bite. Now we saw it in
I think
January.
it does.
Newcastle
I
couldn't
think it
buy
does.
anybody. Yeah, we
Yeah.
saw that, didn't we? Newcastle, they couldn't buy anybody. Everyone was saying, well, Newcastle, if they want to buy someone, they have to sell Bruno Guimaraes or sell
Mhm.
one of their other assets. They have to
Mhm.
sell to buy. So
Mhm.
hopefully it has a
Mhm.
bit more teeth. Yeah, but it is scary, that's you have to get it right all the time. And I asked you
Yeah.
this on Quasi's show last night, wasn't it? When's the last time we
Mhm.
signed a bad player? You can't. We
Yeah.
haven't signed a bad. When's the last time we signed a bad player on a permanent contract? Forget
Right.
Keita and Thiago. That's just injury, right?
Yeah.
An actual just a flop for 50 million quid. Who everyone's like, oh, he's terrible. We get it
Only
right
Kiate.
all the time. We get it right all the goddamn time when it comes to spending
Yeah.
big money on stuff.
Common
So
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not easy to do that. It's not. It's very easy when you're City to buy a player like Grealish for 100 million and go, no. We'll just let him settle in for a year.
Mhm. Mhm.
I know we settled in Fabinho. I know, and I always bring this back. Seems to be the only person who remembers this. And whenever people bring it up about how long it took Fabinho to get into the Liverpool side, there
Mhm.
was stories. He was taking so long to get into our team. It was coming up to December, so getting near January.
Mhm.
There were
Mhm.
stories saying he was going back to PSG on loan because Klopp didn't rate him. That's how long it took him to get into the team. That's like Fabinho. People know he took a while, but he actually took so long. There was a story saying he was going back to PSG, going back to France, PSG,
Mhm.
because he
Mhm.
played about 4 games or something. But yeah, that's
But
the
there's
okay.
but
We
these are the
we
same
did it.
people, Brian. Good. I was gonna say
No, I'm saying he was a kind of a 40 million. Like City can do it for a year with a Grealish for 100 million.
exactly. That's what I was
Yeah,
about to get at. Yes, exactly. The difference is when I hear all the conversations about who's a better coach or better this that I get that. They're both very talented coaches. Each one of them says that. I mean, each one of them calls each other the better coach. That's just their humility. But I also know that the reason why that statement sticks with me was because City has had the ability to say, you know what, we're going to spend 100 some odd million on a player and then sit him on the bench. That's not what we're doing. We're going out and spending what 7 million I think we spent for Robbo, right? Isn't that something like that? How much we spent for Robbo?
yeah, about 8 million. Yeah, yeah.
8 million.
But
Yeah.
we gave,
So
we got 12 million off them for Kevin Stewart, so we basically got 4
right,
million.
right, how it worked out.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're out there spending, like you said, 8 million plus giving adding a player into the deal and like getting money back. We're managing our books and doing what FSG said they would do actually, um, unlike a Hicks and Gillette, and that is make this club self-sufficient. Make it and I don't believe that we are I don't believe that we are even a sell to buy club per se, really, to be honest with you. I don't think that really is. I think that's a narrative that was brought up, possibly that could have been
I don't
connected
think
to our
that's even
team
a concept
before.
anymore.
I don't think it's that narrative exists for this club really anymore, to be honest with you.
No, I don't think every club now has to sell players if they want to buy players, and they always
Right.
have. It was something that was. I mean, that is one of the laziest pieces of crap that has ever come out of any real kind of. It's basically we sold Coutinho for 140
Mm-hmm.
million, which was probably double what he was worth, right? Because they were drunk on Paris Saint Germain money, and they gave 100 million. You know, they gave 100 million to Dortmund for Dembele. They gave us 140 million for Coutinho.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's just insanity. And
Mm-hmm.
so we used that money to buy Allison. We had already people say we used that money to buy Van Dijk and Allison.
We were already part of that deal. We're already making that deal. That
We
deal's
had
going to
Van
happen
Dijk.
already.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
had to walk away. People forget that we had Van Dijk done in the summer. Southampton reported
Right.
us for tapping up, so we had to walk
Right.
away. Coutinho wasn't
Right.
even gone then. Van Dijk done. So
Right. And
apparently,
then they
yeah,
ended up
we
adding
used the
extra
money.
and end up adding a little bit extra on top of that too because of the circumstances.
Yeah, the
You know.
shenanigans. Yeah, we used the money amazingly, and we bought two players that transformed our team. But so everyone just went, oh yeah, Liverpool is helped by FSG. The only time, so basically, what would happen would people say, yeah, but they brought in really good players, and they won a league. And so the FSGL people would say, yeah, but the only reason that happened is because they sold Coutinho and bought
I
that
don't agree
nice
with that.
talent.
I don't agree with that.
That was the
Yeah.
immediate response. They're held to buy. We got lucky.
No.
We only won a league because we sold Coutinho, and FSG would never spend any money otherwise. So it was like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Fine.
Yeah. Real quick, I'm gonna get JK's comments on that too, because we're gonna end after this. But I was gonna say the what I could add to that statement is, you know, when a team gets if you're a team and you just see another club get 150 million, let's say, or whatever it was, what was the number, 140 some odd million, 150 million. Now all of a sudden your evaluation of your player goes up too. Now all of a sudden, you know that that team has more money that they can reach into their pockets and grab, or you could possibly grab for them, you know? So, like, there's a lot of little different factors that weighed into that for me. And I agree with what you said. I don't think that we were ever necessarily a sell to buy club in the sense of it wasn't like we had to make that Coutinho deal to get Allison or to get VVD. I just think we were already going to get Allison and VVD, but that money helped. It certainly helped. It didn't hurt, but because of that, now all of a sudden those expenditures are certainly covered, but they're also going to be even higher possibly. JK, what do you want to say?
Yeah. Just I think what it is with the fans, football fans, very impatient. FSG, they've done two stands, a training ground. I think that's just sort of with the time they've been here, it was sort of running the mill. They had to do that. Could they have done better stands? I think the main stand is amazing. The one behind the goal, yeah, it's nice, but I was expecting a 3-tier or something like that, But hey, they've done well with us. I think that the FFP news over the winter was a blessing in disguise for them guys. It sort of took the heat off them.
Oh yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah.
So
it's a wake up call for the rest of the league, by the way. It's a wake up call for Chelsea fans out there. It's a wake up call for all the United fans that were begging and willing to sell their club for the Qataris. It's a wake up call for the Newcastle supporters that thought that since they got such wealthy owners that took over their club that it was just going to be a fast pass to titles. No, it's not the case. Like, as in, it's a realization that you got to spend wisely, correctly, and you have to keep your books correct. I mean, a lot of what we're seeing, a lot of these FFP regulations and sanctions are getting hit on teams like your Evertons, your teams like your Forest, who have been throwing money hand over fist into this pot, trying to get these players, trying to get big name or at least high price signatures into their confolds, and it's just not necessarily going in to what makes
even Leicester now. I think if Leicester get promoted, they'll be deducted points from the start of the season.
They've got an issue, yeah.
That's
they were
crazy.
They were highlighted last year. Like, this is the thing. If we'd had a Hicks and Gillette type come in the way that they were talking, we'd probably be looking, if it had gone differently for them, we'd be one of those clubs. Yeah, we might have spent an extra 150 million, but we might be looking at a points deduction. We've never been in the dock for any of this stuff. We've never been in the dock for any of this crap that's going on. All this Chelsea stuff, Man City, like, I'm not saying we're whiter than white. We're owned by billionaires. You don't become billionaire hedge fund people by being whiter than white. But in football, in terms, we played this correctly because they came in on the proviso that FFP was going to work, and that's what they built their model on. So they were like, be smart, get if you monetize, basically, the two most monetized clubs in the world, in England, United and Liverpool, they were being monetized, we weren't. So they said, monetize Liverpool and they'll earn more than anybody apart from one or two clubs in the world. So if you're allowed to spend that, this works out great. We'll have more money than anybody apart from Man United and Real Madrid. If we do the marketing right and the commercial stuff right and maximize all the revenues right, which is what they've done.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know that you could come in and cheat. But now finally, so basically the point I'm trying to make was
now they got some speed traps out there. Basically, it's like they thought it was going to be Audubon, and now they're recognizing that there are some speed traps on this highway, and they've got to drive the speed limit, basically.
But just like I'm saying, if we were saying they had to sell Guimaraes to buy a player, right? Newcastle, they're the richest club in the world, and they would have had to sell a player to buy a player. So does that mean they're sell to buy? No, it doesn't. That's just showing you how football works.
Oh, got you. Understood.
Yeah. We're calling us sell to buy. Well, Newcastle are sell to buy. Chelsea need to sell Conor Gallagher to open up the books to be able to do something.
We'll do. I'm gonna do a piece on that. I'm gonna do an episode on that, like as in just to kind of give some insight. It's gonna be a wonky style, I'm sure, style episode where there's gonna be a lot of things that a lot of people don't want to necessarily get into, which is like the numbers, the books, and all the other stuff and everything, and how the game has changed. Yeah, there's gonna be a higher emphasis. There's gonna be a higher emphasis on youth academy players, and the development of the youth academy players, because you can get a higher return for youth academy players as opposed to bringing in a for instance, real quick, like as in a transfer, like you're Chelsea is never going to get 100 some odd million for Enzo. They're just not. They're going to take a loss on Enzo one way or another, because there's no way any team is going to say, "Oh, we're going to give you some type of profit," when you had to pay some 100 some odd million for Enzo. Not saying Enzo's not a good player, not saying can't have a promising future, but chances are they're just not going to get that number for him. Chances are, okay. Casado, great player, but I mean, like, are you going to get another record? Are you going to get an even higher record of a transfer price for Casado? Chances are no. Okay, that's just the chances are. And then you got these deals that they're putting these players on, like these 7, 8, 9-year deals or whatever the heck they are, that are so bad that the Prem had to cancel it. That's another story. I'll get onto that episode. I'll put together that episode for those that are interested in that kind of content. I'm going to land the plane though, because we're closing in on 2 hours and 45 minutes of flight time, long time. I want to make sure everyone's rested and well engaged for tomorrow. Hopefully we gave you guys a little bit of fun little talk to do with. You can bring up the list that we brought up, whether it's Luis Garcia's list or whether it's the list that my own all-time combined 11 list, or even the lineup. Tell me who and what we got wrong with the lineup. But it's all important that you just hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Be sure to pass this and share this with your friends and family, and even your foes and your rivals if you want. I don't really mind at all, because if anything, knowledge is king, and that's what we try to provide here, is the right weaponry and tools so that you can, be engaged and be enlightened, and also have your point come out and possibly enlighten those of us on the panel and those of us in the chat. So I appreciate each and every one of you in the chat, and also JK, big up for joining us today. Thank you. You want to say some parting words before we land the plane here?
Yeah, great being on the show, bro. I'm just looking forward to the game tomorrow. Positive. I see a win. I'm not really bothered about the Arsenal result, but I'm just looking forward to the game tomorrow. I think it's going to be special.
Oh wow! Real quick, before I let Brian give his shout out, Honestly is saying Mo Salah will be ruled out from the Egypt squad for the next international break. That's according to
Ismail
Mahmoud. Okay, well,
So
hopefully
he'll
that's the
probably
case.
play tomorrow
Yeah.
and then not just go.
It's
I think
interesting. They're a lot of that money that they're getting from those friendlies is based on him being a part of them. But go ahead, okay,
Yeah.
finish your thought.
yeah, just I heard a while about that. He might not go anyway.
Good for
So
him.
I just
Maybe
feel that he's not really for qualification. It's probably friendlies, yeah.
yeah, just friendly. It's
It's
just
a
a friendly,
friendly
but
Yeah.
tournament.
it's like some friendly
It's a
tournament or
friendly
something.
tournament. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
prearranged nonsense. It's Egypt, Croatia, New Zealand, Saudi, or some Qatar, and someone else. It's weird
Mhm.
and it's pointless.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Actually,
pointless. And that's
Brian,
another thing you could talk about, bro. The way they're, like you get a sponge and you squeeze the last water out of it. How they're doing that to footballers with
oh yeah,
playing, like the Nations League. You know that one where they did
that's
between.
UEFA. That's the
Oh,
FA. The FAs. That's your your calves, your combables, all these different. They know where their money is. They know where they're getting their money. They know it. So and they can't wait around for the World Cup. That's why they want to make the World Cup every 2 years.
Yep.
To be honest with you.
Yep.
They want to make it. They want to make it every 2 years simply because it's the money grab. It's an easier way to keep cycling in that money. But yeah,
We're here
that.
to stop that.
We'll do an episode next time. Yeah,
We're here to
Brian,
stop
do you want to give a shout?
that.
Yeah. You want to give a shout before we land the plane here?
Just to say good night to everybody watching in chat, and I'm sure everyone that is watching has already liked and subscribed. But if you haven't liked and subscribed already, you probably should. But even if you don't, and I'm sure everyone does always do that, but just remember as well, liking and subscribing is good, but actually word of mouth helps in more than anything else. So if you do like the show, just tell someone about it. Tell someone you know, or tell someone you work with. Spread it around. Don't just wait for YouTube to do it. If you do like it, tell someone about it.
Please do. Please do. It's the biggest. One of the best things you can do is like share the word. You can also, as the banner is saying, by subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing, this becomes a movement, to empower all Reds, empower all of our mighty Reds out there, and that's the mission for me, is to basically say, together we're strong, and and with knowledge we are even stronger. So let's do the best to take care of ourselves. Be sure to take care of your loved ones. Can't stress that enough. And if anything, I will certainly see you guys in one way or another tomorrow. Big game, up the Reds, right? Let's get it, guys. All right, take care and see you tomorrow. You want to say one thing real quick? Go ahead.
No, I was saying let's go for it. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, for sure. All right. Landing gear is out. We're touching down. Definitely. Take care, guys. Up the Reds.